Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the episode 12. Let me know if the chat is working. Are we live? Let's see. Yes, I think we are. Good to see you guys. Welcome back to episode 12 of the live day trading stream, our new format where we day trade 5 days a week during the New York Open. I hope you guys are enjoying the process. It's a process. It's a journey. I hope you guys are liking it so far. If you do like it and you just tuned in, I would highly respect or appreciate you smashing that like button. We're going to get back to work. We have a lot of things to cover today in regards to gold and everything that's happening in the market right now. Gold has been pumping. We literally sniped the bottom yesterday. Absolute bottom of the bottom. So we're going to go deeper into the scenario today. I'm looking forward to see what we have on a Wednesday, the midweek. We're going to go over this here. Let me see if the chat is working correctly as well. Just quickly figure it out. Boom. Yes, I think so. Good to see you, Nabil. John, the man himself, as always. Good evening, team. Let's get some wins. I'm holding trades tonight. Nice, John. Congratulations. Amazing. Shoop, welcome back. Good to see you, Kamara. Hey, man. Amazing. Amazing that you're back on stream as well. Aliras, amazing trade yesterday. Beautiful. AJ Van Uvuren. What up, Lorenzo? Daniel Burger. Oh, yes, sir. Okay. It's time to get the party started, right? We need some music. That's how it works on this stream. That's why you're here up on time. You're here to kick off the stream with me with some music. It will be an absolute unpleasant situation if you would miss out on the best part of the stream, which is the first 5 minutes. We need a beat. We need something. We need something to get this shit rolling. You know what I mean? We need to get rolling. That's how it works here. All right? Let's get the party started. Yeah. Welcome back, baby. Let's get to work. sir. Welcome back, baby, to episode 12 of the live trading stream here. My name is Lorenzo, Corrado. If you guys are new, we've got a lot of new people on our stream right now. An absolute pleasure to host you on a daily basis here. I'm here to keep it low profile, to have fun with you guys, to learn, and to just trade and see whatever we can get, right? Yesterday was a beautiful example of how we got into the pretty much the best entry of the session. So hopefully today we can find something similar. Obviously the market conditions are always different, right? Today's a Wednesday, it's the midweek. We have a range, right? We're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about the higher time frame and everything that we need to talk about to make sure that we have a really, really good understanding of what we are looking for today, okay? We're going to talk about the gold higher time frame. We're also going to talk about the overall sentiment of the market right now, right? What has been happening to oil, what has been happening to the stock market, the dollar, right? This is all interconnected. This will all have somewhat of an impact on gold, all right? So we need to at least have an overview of what is happening on that standpoint, so we can at least take some, macro bias in consideration here by just understanding what the other instruments and assets have been doing, because it all has an impact on the metal sector. And because we're trading gold, we need to know what's happening outside. Oil is important, the dollar is important, right? All these things are connected with each other. So we're going to talk about this as well here. We're going to talk about yesterday. Man, yesterday was a beautiful trade. We pretty much sniped the bottom right here, man. If you had the balls to hold on to that trade, bro, then yeah, you're set. That's all I can say. You are set, okay? Anyways, we did talk about another level, okay? And that was, do you guys remember that, by the way? What we talked about as well yesterday, the 75. Do you guys remember that? We talked about that 75 level, which was the point of control, right, of this range right here. And if you don't know what we're talking about with the point of control, this is something that comes from our book, where we analyze and talk about the volume profile, so you can learn about how we utilize the key levels that are very important in the market, right? Which the market tends to react from, and this is a good example as well. And you can see actually that level that we talked about right here at 75. Do you guys remember that? Right here, that was another pullback entry where I said I might get a new entry in the 75 region. And I don't joke around when I talk about key levels here, because most of the levels I talk about are important levels from a volume standpoint. But at the same time, these are also backed by real order flow. So this is what I said yesterday here. Let's quickly go over this so you understand, you get the full perspective of it. So yeah, the question is, are we going to see pullback soon? If so, the 75 is that level I will be watching. Yeah, 75 will be that level right here. 75. Which is actually where these sellers took control and where we had such a hard time breaking out of, okay? Such a hard time. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. All right, that was the 75 yesterday, okay? So what happened later on? And this is why I'm always saying, pay attention to these levels, because I'm not joking around when I talk about these levels here, okay? The 75 was right around there. If you go to the 5-minute time frame, we can actually specify that. Look at that, man. Look at how it tapped into our level right there and how it was backed by these levels right here. You can see on the hourly time frame and the order flow chart as well how it tapped into the 75. Why did it tap into the 75? Right there, okay, where these sellers got trapped. I mean, I've been talking about these boxes, but this is definitely something to follow up with. Trapped sellers aligning with a key level. And of course, hey, what is the most important part? The undervaluation against the dollar right there. It's the golden combination, the volume profile with the order flow and the undervaluation against the dollar. Type in a yes if this makes sense to you. And if you're new, then hopefully, you can watch some streams back so you can kind of get the understanding of what we're doing here, because we're following a very specific trading system here on this live stream, guys. Okay, I really want you to understand this. It's a very specific trading system. It's not going to guarantee us trades every single day, always, all the time. We're going to lose, we're going to win, but it's been a proven, profitable system that I've been following right now for a while, and it has been paying off significantly, okay? It has been paying off significantly. Now, that was a great example of what happened yesterday right here, okay? Now, from yesterday, let's move to today, because we are now dealing with a huge pump, and that huge pump came actually last night. Look at that here. For me, it was 4 in the morning. If you live in the United States, it was probably 4 in the afternoon-ish. And we saw a massive pump here, okay, for gold. And I do believe it had to do with Trump, and Trump giving us a speech around Iran, that the war is pretty much over, etc., right? That's what he talked about, the war. It's pretty much settled right now. At least that's what he's stating, right? It's not confirmed. That's what he's stating. But that's kind of his impression. He made everyone believe that things are going very well, that Iran even gave the United States a big present full of gas, full of oil, which of course dumped oil aggressively around that same time period. You could see this right here. Look at that huge dump again on oil. At the same time here, we dropped around 6%. And if you go back to gold here, yeah, gold actually benefited from that here, right? So this is why we have to pay attention to other assets as well here. You see that negative correlation between oil and between gold? It's very important to pay attention to this. So the sentiment of these assets are very important to us, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to today. And of course, we saw that we are currently still in a balanced trading session, right? Because we are not breaking the daily highs yet. Balanced trading session today, and the reason why is because we haven't broken, like we talked about all the time, right? We haven't broken the daily high, which was the Asian high, and of course the Asian low. We're in the middle of the Asian high and the Asian low, or you could say the daily high and the daily low, okay? So for now we're balanced, but that might change later on during the session, of course. So we do have to utilize this as a start on the lower time frame. I'm gonna get back to the lower time frame in a second here. Let me go to the higher time frame, and let's kick it off with gold on the daily, okay? Because we will have a lot of resistance at the 4,640, okay? I want to say this already upfront right now. We're going to find a lot of resistance at the 4,640. I'm going to back this by real order flow, by real orders in the marketplace on the higher time frame, so you understand exactly why this is such an important zone here. On the 12 hours, the 12-hour supply zone. Okay, but this supply zone is actually backed by real data. Okay, so we will find some serious resistance there in case we do get there. I do want you to pay attention to this. We're not that far away anymore from that zone here. Okay, so what do I mean with that zone? Why is this such an important area of resistance here? Now, let's go to the daily. Okay, and let's mark out the order flow chart here for a second. These are daily candles, and these are all the orders placed throughout the whole day on a daily candle. So this is a day, this is a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, a Monday, and then a Tuesday, and then today, of course, is Wednesday, right? Now, every day we see where the most volume in that candle has been traded, okay? Now, yesterday, my question to you, were there more trapped sellers, or are there more trapped buyers? Or were there more aggressive sellers yesterday? Right? Were there more people pressing market sell, or more people pressing market buy? Let me know in the chat here, because this is very important for us, because this will give us a big reason to find support or resistance in any of these levels here, okay? So let me know what you guys think here. We're here to learn. I'm here to introduce to you guys some order flow. I'm also studying this. I'm getting better at this every moment here. It seems to be aligning very well with the current system we're talking about here, okay? So yesterday you could see that more red boxes were created here. So more red boxes means there were more sellers here than buyers, okay? So why, if there were more sellers than buyers, the candle closed green? That's weird, right? Why is that happening? Well, the reason why that's happening is because there were more limit buyers. There was a large absorption of sellers. So that means that sellers sold into buyers, okay? Because every contract, you have to understand, every contract equals 2 market participants, okay? 1 seller and 1 buyer. That is 1 contract. So if you sell, someone has to buy it from you and the other way around, okay? That's very important. If you sell, someone has to buy it from you and the other way around. So if I press market sell, someone presses limit buy. That equals 1 contract, okay? So what does this mean for us? Well, what does it mean for us is the fact that there were more sellers there. So we can now see that if we would potentially pull back to that range, right, which is the 4430, it's on the higher time frame, we might not get there this session, but it will be acting as strong support. Trust me when I say this. It will be acting as strong support. This is a great example from the other perspective where sellers took control. And guess what happened, right? We pulled into that box where there was a lot of volume traded and we sold off aggressively, okay? Now, this is an example right here. More sellers right here to control. And what happened the next day? We sold off. And we actually found that resistance there yesterday with the closure as well. So this is very important for us to mark out. And this is why we have major areas of support and resistance there. Now, at the same time, you guys can also see that we have a lot of trapped buyers sitting up at the 4,650, okay? 4,650 until the 4,730. This is where we're seeing a lot of trapped buyers. This is where people were aggressively buying and then the candle flip bearish. These people are all screwed. They're all either stuck in their position or they were liquidated out of their position, okay? This is why this is a huge area of interest for us, okay? So if we take that higher time frame information now back to the chart, and we talked about these levels, right? The 4650 to 4730. Guess what? That is roughly speaking, right? Our area of supply right here on the 12 hour. So I can almost guarantee you that this will be a major area of resistance right here, okay? So either we find entries from there or we actually utilize this as a target. So we trade towards this on the lower time frame, right? I hope this guys makes sense here. Let me know in the chat if you guys get this. This is a 1. If you get this here, okay? We will go over this over and over again on this stream. This is why I'm here. I'm here to support you. I'm here to host these streams for free. So you can learn on a daily basis here. And, you know, it's just to have fun as well together. Trading together is fun with the right system, right? With the right trading system in mind here. But this is why we have a lot of resistance there. So it will either be a target for us or it will be an area of resistance where we could potentially short for a pullback. Right, that's our overall intention here. So that is the higher time frame. Now let's take this a step further and let's go to the 4 hour because the 4 hour is very important. Right, we cannot just only observe the daily because we have to look at the 4 hour as well here because the 4 hour is just as important for us because right now we can actually see that we have been seeing some support here as well. A bunch of trapped sellers in this 4 hour candle. So let's take this to the 4 hour right there. Right, and you could already see that this is that 4 hour candle right there that I'm talking about right there, okay? And in this 4 hour candle, you can see very clearly that in that candle right there between the 4,510 and between 4,470, we will have a lot of trapped sellers sitting there. So this is probably speaking right around there, okay? It's this box right here. So I'm going to use that as an area on the 4 hour. And we're going to see if price gets into that level. Is there a chance that we could react from it? We could see a lot of selling on the lower time frame, people trying to short into that, thinking we're going to fill the gap or we're going to fill the imbalance or we're breaking structure, right? People thinking that we're going to break structure and then we're getting absorbed here. We're seeing buyers stepping in and then we just try to take price higher and we call that a CME play, a consolidation, a manipulation and an expansion. That's exactly what we did yesterday as well here. That's how we traded yesterday as well. It was actually the perfect example on the lower time frame, right? Where we found a push down, a manipulation, and then that expansion as well here. So for us, that 4 hour candle is very important. And this zone is by default extremely important as well here. So now I'm going to use the volume profile on the 50-minute time frame because we use the volume profile, right? We talked about this in our book, the LTA Concepts Trading War Map. I think someone can paste the link in it in the chat and then you can download this for free. And I'm going to utilize the volume profile right here. And the reason why we're utilizing the volume profile is because we have utilized them already for years, right? This is something that we do because we understand that volume is super important for us. So we have our higher time frame interest or area of interest right now, which is that 4 hour zone in my opinion, okay? That means we could take out what? The London lows, right? We could take out the London lows. And then I would see or would love to see some bullish reaction here, okay? And if I see a bullish reaction here, then I would be looking for longs to see if we could take this towards the highs. That is the thought process right there. That could be one scenario, okay? I'm just marking out a couple of scenarios here so you understand why I will be looking at this. But let's just utilize the volume profile right now. And let's take it from the bottom to the top. Right here. All right, we can definitely see there is a lot less volume traded here, so people like to trade into this zone here aggressively. Most of the volume was actually traded there. This is why we are finding resistance right now at the point of control, right? So we are now finding resistance at the point of control here, but it's all about what is going to happen in the next hour or so and how is price developing right there, right? So I'm very curious to see what will happen in this box right here on the 4 hour and what will happen if the London lows get taken out here, okay? Very aggressive entries would be shorting towards the London lows, but because the overall trend right now is very bullish, we created higher highs, right? And another higher high. We are kind of forming a new trend to the upside right here, okay? This is also a trend that we can kind of spot as well, just for extra reference, extra context. The trend itself is not really my biggest confluence, by the way. I don't really use trend lines all the time. But again, you can see how this could align with that zone. And we're kind of waiting for a reaction into that. And I would love to see a little bit of deeper pullback right now, because of the fact that if we go back to the 15-minute time frame, let me actually utilize the valuation index so we can see how we're measured right now against the dollar right here. Yeah, we're kind of neutral, right? We are kind of neutral at this current moment. We are kind of sitting in the middle. So what we want to see is actually a little bit more of a pullback towards an undervaluation, because this is where we find the best entries. This was yesterday's entry, by the way, right there, undervalued, okay? This was another one right there, undervalued. This was not completely undervalued, but this was well undervalued, right? So this is where we can snipe the best entries for sure right here. So when we put everything together, all right, to conclude, we have now a full understanding of the higher time frame and how the orders in the marketplace are distributed. And at the same time, we also have an intraday area of interest where potentially a lot of traders could get trapped in the marketplace. And then, of course, we will find as well potential undervaluation for actual execution, okay? I hope this makes sense, guys, so far. I'm still leaning towards a little bit more strength for gold right now at the moment here. Gold has been reacting very well here. And of course, also take into consideration right now, the daily candle is bullish. We are looking pretty decent right now. We have also closed a 12-hour candle. We can see that we are holding up really well. And that major resistance has not been reached yet, okay? So that major resistance that we talked about here on the daily time frame has not been mitigated yet. We will find a bit of resistance right now, but this is why I'm waiting and anticipating a bit more of a pullback, okay? But that is the overall thought process and area here for us to see if you could look for a little bit more of a reaction to the downside and see if you could actually find support at around, I could say, the 4,500. Okay, the 4,500 is an area that I will be looking at as well here. Somewhere around the 4,495 or the 4,500 is something I'm interested in. But again, it all depends on the valuation here. It depends how deep you can swipe. And I think a confirmation could be, or once we react and we kind of react and we're seeing some buyers stepping in here, that we could go to the lower time frame and kind of following up with this here. So this is my personal plan for today here. And let's see if price can actually respect this. But I would not be surprised if we see price coming down a little bit lower during the open right now, back towards the 45.11, the 45.10 to start with, right around there. Let me see on the lower time frame right here, towards the 44.70, right? 44.70. So right there, the 44.70. That's kind of my zone, my area of interest. Right there. Just gonna mark it out. Okay. And then we're gonna also just see what we had from an order flow standpoint here. Yeah, we have support at 45.30 as well, but it might be a bit too early based upon what we're currently seeing. We have to just really pay attention to how our price reacts around here. On the 5-minute, we are already undervalued right now, so we might see a little bit of a reaction. And this is what I'm saying, right? Shorting right now seems a bit tricky to me at this current moment, regardless if I want to find the best entry of this session. All right, so I'm really going to pay attention very closely to, how does price react. We do have a lower time frame reaction for the real scalpers here, which is sitting at 44, but I would say right now The selling pressure is quite aggressive, okay? On the 1 hour, it's very, very clear that we're seeing a lot of selling right now. At the moment, you guys can see this already. And guess what happened, right? On the hourly time frame, we closed this candle. There were more sellers there, aggressive, and the price came into that candle, and we actually sold off there. Okay, so if you go to the 15-minute, you can see it more clearly. Trap buyers, right? Price reacts from these trap buyers right there on the 15-minute as well here. And then price sold off right there with a lot of selling. So buying here is definitely also tricky on the lower time frame. But yeah, we're kind of in the middle right now. Let's see if we can get a bit more down. My point of interest would be somewhere around this area for a reaction. And potentially today will be more or less, or hopefully, kind of a 15-minute entry. Okay, a 15-minute time frame entry, taking the valuation tool in consideration here. Okay, now the last thing I want to share is the dollar. All right, the dollar is relatively weak, but we're in a range. We're not dumping, we're not crashing further down. We are getting respected here. We are in a range, we are holding up. So we do have to take that in consideration. You can definitely see that right now at the moment, buyers are willing to step in here and actually hold the dollar up. You can definitely see that the dollar, especially look at the 4 hour here, right? The dollar is definitely finding some support right now. So this is why I would say for longs on gold, I don't think that rushing into trades here right now, into longs especially, makes a lot of sense here. So short term, I would say I'm bearish. If we're talking about right now in the next hour, I'm more on the bearish. I'm more leaning towards the bearish side here. But I think the entry that I'm looking for is a long from that zone that we marked out. Kind of understand that if the dollar would come up, we also have to align the fact that we are also in resistance as well here. So we are also finding a resistance here. Okay, so that's why. Let's see how price reacts when it takes out, in my opinion, the London low. Let me just mark out the sessions right there, the London lows right here, and see if it could potentially flip, find support, see buyers step in, see the dollar being in resistance, look at the confirmation, and see if we can get an undervaluation and see if it could potentially pull back. All right, that's my thought process right now for today's session here. If my bias is wrong, I will let you know as well here, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is going to happen. I'm just here observing and thinking about what is the storyline that I can utilize myself in. What is the storyline that I can build for myself? So every day I go to the market before the session, I say, this is the story, right? And you can see how I'm trying to put the puzzle pieces together by looking at a variety of different things in the market that are all interconnected to each other. And then I'll make a decision, okay? And based around that, I try to get into the best entries possible for the session. That's the thought process. And if I can do that every day, 5 days a week, continuously, then over time with the right risk management, the right execution, I should be able to consistently make money in the markets here. I hope that makes sense. So let me see what the chat have been saying here. Let's actually find a nice tune in the middle of going through this as well here. Now it's a question of waiting a little bit. Very nice, very, very chill now. We started off strong. Look at that selling, by the way. Look at that selling. That's not a surprise, right? That is not a surprise. That is not really a surprise right now. Okay. Ruben says, reading your book is one thing. Having you verbalizing the method is another thing. We get your way of thinking about a price. It's amazing to hear that. Yeah, the book is also has also a lot of macro fundamental context. So if you're really interested in learning about that, even the scalpers that I know, they understand the macro fundamentals because it just gives them a better bias for the day, right? It's all about finding the right bias for the day, pretty much. Definitely. This is also reconciling with yesterday's RTH closing. That makes sense. All right. Blah says your Arab followers want an Arabic translation of the broadcast. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe after the stream I could implement some captions. During the stream, I don't think it's possible to do so. Unless you have some AI tools. I don't know, maybe. What is the best area to sell from? I mean, we're facing some selling pressure right now, as you can see already. So I think the short term is actually relatively bearish. Okay, just the short term right now. We just closed the 50-minute candle right here at this current moment. You can see now that the 4455 will probably be an area of resistance here. So that will be a short-term resistance level. And it makes sense because if you go to the 5-minute time frame here, right, then you can actually see that right there, we'll have that level, the point of control gap. Okay, so if you are a hyper scalper, I call you just a hyper scalper, someone that really trades the lower time frame. Yesterday we traded the 5-minute as well, the 1-minute and the 5-minute as well here. So sometimes we are the same. Then this should be acting as some resistance right now. Okay, I'm always personally looking for the best trade of the session. I'm not thinking about quantity personally. I'm thinking about quality. Okay, that is my vision for the streams personally. Okay, quality over quantity, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there are not more opportunities as well. And I think that this could be one of those, opportunities right here. But we are already undervalued on the 5-minute here. But look at that, we were overvalued as well there, and we created a top on the 5-minute. We were overvalued here, and we created a top. So yeah, we knew that it was coming. We knew that the reversal was coming. Okay. Now it's all about how far can we go and how far can we pull back. And at the moment, we're waiting for the 50-minute to get undervalued. And what I already really like, guys, right now, to be honest, looking at it, okay, what I already like here is the following. The fact that we're leaning already almost to that undervaluation right now. Correct? We're very close to that undervaluation right now at the moment here. We are at 100. We are almost there, and we're getting towards our zone. So very curious to see how price responds here. Very, very soon already. And to see if the dollar will find some resistance here, because the dollar is not necessarily looking weak. Oil is also bouncing here, right? Oil is also reacting, but we will have some resistance on oil very, very soon, which is sitting right around there. So what you want is that oil gets rejected here. But this looks pretty strong right now. So we do have to take that a bit in consideration. The dollar is holding up really well here. Major resistance on the dollar here that I can find is on the higher time frame. Let me go to the higher time frame. The 4-hour. Yeah, this is still going to be that zone that we talked about right there. Okay. This area is the area where the dollar will find resistance as well here. So I think we have everything set for the reaction. And let's go from there, right? Once we're there, I'll go to the 5-minute time frame. And I will be looking at a reaction a bit lower. And to see if it makes sense for a bounce or anything in that matter. Sticking on the higher time frame here. Predominantly the 4-hour. Right? The 4-hour is something that I'm looking for. You can see the zone already. This is a major area of support right now. The 4,500 is an area of support here. Okay. John says, cut that last 1-minute sell just before the break of the prior structure, closed full after the pullback. Amazing. Amazing. Congratulations, man. Yeah, it made sense. We saw some selling pressure coming in. We also broke below the VWAP here. So we are definitely seeing a bit of selling pressure. But, hey, buyers are still here. Buyers are still here. There is definitely some interest right now for buyers to step in here. Let's see. A little bit of an absorption, I would say. It's not necessarily... look at that massive buyer that stepped in right there at the 45.25 here. We're definitely seeing this happening right now. That is interesting. So we are already reacting here. We are already reacting with this overvaluation. Interesting to see this already happening a bit earlier in the session right now. The dollar is already finding some resistance as well as oil. You can already see oil. Look at oil and look at the dollar. There we go. Yeah, the dollar. Look at oil right here, right? Look at oil, how it reacted from our box, our zone. This is why you see gold reacting, okay? So this just proves that we have to be very, very aware currently of what oil was doing, because it has an impact on gold. It has an impact on gold. The dollar as well. It is all interconnected, okay? So to clarify our strategy on the stream here, we had a couple things that we're going to use here. We have something that we call correlation, okay? Number one, correlation. Write this down. Correlation. Valuation. Okay. Macro technicals, okay, which is supply and demand in case we see zones, right? All right. And then we have LTF, volume profile, plus order flow execution. Okay? It's a 4-step process. Correlation, which is the overall market, right? What's happening in the overall market? What's happening in terms of the valuation? These are all interconnected with each other. Okay? And then we have the higher time frame, of course, our most important higher time frame zones with the lower time frame volume profile. Who is winning? Who's in control? Is it buyers? Is it sellers? Who is getting absorbed? Who is getting stuck in their positioning? What are the best levels? That's the execution. Okay? That is the strategy on the streams right here. That's a 4-step system. And of course, we can add on a lot of things to that later on, like the fundamentals and all these other layers as well if you want to. But this is the core process of the actual, the actual system itself here. So oil is getting rejected. The dollar is following up with oil. So this is very important for us. We want to see oil getting rejected right here. Okay? We do want to see this. Does that mean we should be getting into buys now? I think that, this is very interesting. Now look at the amount of buyers stepping in. Wow. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of absorption here. There's definitely a lot of absorption here. Okay. Wow. That 4-hour zone as well is still getting respected. Right here again, that 4-hour zone, we just talked about it. I expected it to slightly push down a bit more. But the way buyers are already willing to step in here is very impressive. It's very, very impressive. Okay? That is very impressive right now. Looking at the overall gold and how it's reacting. So definitely have to look at it. But keep in mind that we will have to take out the 46.62 and the 55, which is where we're going to find resistance right now. So I expect sellers to come in right now. Again, it's going to be a real battle right now. So there is still a lot of selling. There is still a lot of buying. Okay, we're kind of in the middle. We're going to figure out who's in control very, very soon. And I think that's where we can move forward. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So let's say we push up higher. What would be a scenario? Now, I like this level. I like this point of control level. I think it's a very important level right here. Okay. We are seeing now, okay, that this overall level right here is where the most volume in this range was traded. So if we manage to close above it and we pull back into it and we find support here, and we're still looking at somewhat of an undervaluation here, yeah, then I am willing to look for buys as well here, because it shows that buyers just absorbed the selling. We would break above the VWAP, right? We would close above the sellers. Buyers are here in control. We pull back. I will be safe at an entry, stop loss below, and that means we will break above the point of control again. Okay, that will be another scenario as well that I would definitely be paying attention to when it comes down to gold as well here, in case we just push higher and we continue to push higher right now already. Okay, so we do have I do have a plan B in mind in case we don't get there, and because we're still relatively undervalued, it's still fine. We're not chasing the market because it makes sense as long as we just stay above it. But right now, like I said before, we will have resistance. So we haven't broken above that yet. We will have sellers coming in. We will have resistance. And this is what you're seeing happening right now. Look at the amount of more sellers are coming in. The moment we tapped to that box, sellers came in. Interesting how that works. Very interesting. All right, so there's a lot of buying here. We are undervalued, so this is for me not a sell. That's a rule I have to follow. I don't sell in undervaluations. I don't sell in undervaluations. Why? Because I simply look at the undervaluation here, right? We usually find bottoms, and that's usually not where I would like to sell. Okay, Yesterday was a good example when we talked about that 75 level on the stream, right? That 75, that same level had an undervaluation. So we are undervalued. So I don't like to buy when we, or sell, sorry, when we're undervalued here. Okay. So I prefer to wait a little bit longer. And then with this huge buyer stepping in here at the bottom, you can definitely see that there is an absorption. Okay. That also means I don't want to buy when we are below the sellers right now, where we're sellers took control for the last time. But yeah, it's a perfect example today because I do like this a lot. It pretty much shows me that whoever wins the battle here gives me clarity around entry. So either we feel sellers take over, I wait for the 50-minute undervaluation, I will look for a bounce, or we break back above this level, we pull back, and I look for a potential buy. Pretty straightforward, to be honest, when I'm looking at the current structure. Balance trading session today. We have not broken the daily highs. We have not broken the daily lows. We are ranging. But the London lows right now are just taken out. Okay? The London lows right now are just taken out right here. Okay. If you guys like this analysis here, let me know. If you guys are appreciated with this analysis here, I'm doing this on a daily basis for you guys. I was like, you know what? I'm starting this new format. This is episode 12. And I'm really, really, really enjoying it right now. The, you know, the views are popping. You guys are absolutely killing it. The chat is also super helpful. You guys are very professional. I really, really appreciate this. There are no egos here in the chat where you guys are just thinking about, look at how much money I make, or look at how much better I am than you here. This is for the weaklings, okay? This is where the lower class, the weak-minded people come in, where they have zero understanding of how the market actually works because, you know, they take that one opportunity to say, hey, look at how good I am. Look at how much better I am than you. You lost, I won, ha, ha, ha. That's not the game that we're playing here on this stream, okay? We are here to learn. We are here to get better. We win, we lose as well. It's part of the game. This is trading, okay? But with a good system and a good edge and a solid risk management and patience, I believe we can gain a really good edge in this market. And the communication in our chat is what matters, okay? Because we're all working towards the same goal, the same vision here. And this is why we're here. All right, so I really, really do appreciate this. Now, if you like this analysis for today's session right now, I would really appreciate if you could like this video, because it really helps the channel grow tremendously, right? Just liking the video is the only thing I'm asking for. Tremendously. Oh, and that's pretty much it, right? If you could help me by smashing up that like button, that will be really, really helpful. And that's the only thing, pretty much. And then we can move forward. All right. Mario says, I think we visit back to our area of interest. It's happening quite often. Yeah. Well, right now though, we're looking quite strong. Look at that strong rejection of oil. Right? Oil is dropping, so we're holding up really well. So yeah, definitely looking interesting here. Definitely looking interesting right now. And this is what I'm saying. Buyers are getting absorbed right now. We're seeing a lot of sellers are getting absorbed. And in 1 minute, we will know more. We'll know more because this 15-minute candle will actually close in 1 minute from now. And then we have more information right here. This is the 50-minute time frame, by the way, on the order flow chart, and this is the 5-minute time frame on the candlestick chart here. Okay. Bro, this is all news related. Iran rejected ceasefire, shorts paid nicely. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we clearly saw. A lot of shorting in the short term. But right now we can see that buyers are coming back. They're stepping in. And I think that this 55 level is the most important. But I really actually, for longs, want to break back above the 65 and then potentially find support. That would be an area where I would say, okay, back above the point of control here, back above the area where a lot of volume was traded. Buyers are in control, and then we can target the highs because the London lows are taken out. We can target the Asian highs, for example, if you have some follow through. That could be nice because we are in a balanced session today. So it's about the London highs, lows, Asian highs, lows, daily highs, lows, you name it, right? That is what we're looking for. But we're gonna see what price will do. There's definitely some resistance coming under the lower time frame. Sellers are trying to protect this level. The best entry for me for longs would clearly be not the breakout and retest, but it would be the undervaluation here in this zone, finding support and then looking for a bounce. That will be a level that I would be really liking if you could get there. If you could drop a bit further to the downside right here. Okay. Yeah. You're not trading gold, dollar. This is gold. This is gold on futures. Okay. It's pretty much the same chart. Right now, almost the same price level as well here. Right now, it's almost the same price level as well here. Yeah, area of interest. POI, higher time frame POI. Let's mark it out there. Bro, how you found this out with volume and how to stick with it? Yeah, to me, it's very, very obvious right now that volume is something that is hard to manipulate because volume equals executed orders in the market. So these orders are executed already, right? These are not limit orders. These are executed orders. So the more volume traded at a certain level, right, the more executed orders traded on a certain level, the higher the interest is from an institutional standpoint, the better the opportunities are around these levels. I hope that makes sense. That's why we use the volume profile. I'm really a big fan of the volume profile. Well, it's kind of, support and resistance, but hidden. Hidden. Yeah. And we come into our green box and we're bouncing from our box. We can see this right here, but sellers are pushing. Sellers are pushing. They're definitely trying to push price down right now. Absolutely. That's what we're seeing right here. Bro says, bro, Trump will speak tonight. Is that true? Again? I think so. Yeah, correct. I think he did. For me, it's, early. No, I actually, in the United States, it is in the evening. For me, it's early in the morning. So, yeah, I hope that there is nothing unexpected coming, right? That's something that you cannot control. The unexpected events, for example, could always happen. All right, buyers, come on, boy. Definitely getting absorbed here. Look at that. It's on the 5 minute. This is on the 5 minute. So now we have the same candles. The 5 minute and the 5 minute. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of buying here. Yeah, I would really love to see something like this. Something like a reaction here. Or the break above and the retest, right? And then the reaction. Something like this is what I'm looking for. This is my sweet spot. This is my sweet spot. Yeah. Yesterday's trade, man, we did the same exact thing, right? We waited for the undervaluation. We waited for price to come down, taking out all these buyers, and then sellers cutting aggressively, and then price reversed. So we sniped the bottom yesterday. That was right here. Right at the bottom. And it was a bit tricky because it took some time. And it looked like a real mess until, boom, the volume came in, right? And then it was game over. We never looked back. We never looked back after that. Yeah. What made you mark out that as a higher time frame point of interest? That is the 4 hour that we just talked about at the beginning. We did our analysis right here. You see that in this 4 hour candle right here, we're seeing a lot of trapped sellers, okay? This is why we're reacting at it. At support. We tend to see this a lot. This is something that I personally discovered, which I've now implemented in my system fully, specifically for gold. My gold trading system, I call it. It's a separated or it's a hybrid system from my original concept, but it's all interconnected. But this is the area on the higher time frame where we most likely find some support. Strongest support, by the way, at 4490. Just so you know this, I marked out the whole zone, but 4490 is definitely the strongest zone within the zone. That is where we have seen a lot of aggressive selling, but a very strong bullish candle. So a lot of sellers got trapped in that candle on the 4 hour while we closed bullish. So that's a strong support that usually acts as strong support. Okay. The question is, will we get there? That's the real question. That is the real question. We're seeing a lot of buying now. A lot of buyers stepping in. But yeah, don't buy in resistance, right? Don't buy in resistance. Definitely see that we have to be a little bit patient today. Like yesterday. Pretty straightforward. Fly Tuki Swan says, I've learned it the hard way. Market always almost punishes the early buyers and early sellers. I agree. I completely agree. Not always, right? Not always. Sometimes, you know, seeing intuitively, boom, we're going to go up and you get in. Sometimes it pays off as well here. But yeah, I like to get into the best possible entries of the session. I do like this, of course, the most. But you cannot always control that. Sometimes there are some alternatives as well. Yeah. Hello, man. I'm from Mongolia. Please tell me the volume profile and how to use it. Okay, sure. So we have a couple of things, my friend. Welcome to the stream, by the way. We have a book. We've written a whole book about it. The trading war map. So you can go to war. War. Volume is king. We have a whole section around the volume analysis right here. It goes all the way till page number 70. These are like 70 pages full of information around how you can mark out the volume profile. It's a completely free book. So it's in the chat. Someone will share a link here. And then you will get access to this. But there are a couple ways you can mark it out. You can use ranges. You can use swing profiles. And this is the tool that you use. The fixed range volume profile. And these are the settings. Okay? 128. Row size and 70 value area volume. Yes. Okay, sellers are still there. They're still there. Yeah, this in between, but guys, in between this and this right here, in my opinion, is a no trading zone. Yeah, this is, in my opinion, right here. I'm just gonna say it right here. Roughly speaking, right here is a no trading zone for me. Because there is no clear direction who is actually in control at this current moment. Okay, what I can say is that oil is slowing down, is actually getting rejected. So is the dollar. We're actually in resistance. Okay, so that might give us some support on gold, and we're definitely can see an absorption happening. Sellers are trying, but they're unable to break down. But so are buyers, right? We saw a lot of buying, but we don't see the follow through. So we're definitely in the middle. In my opinion, no trading zone right now at the moment. Okay, early sellers got paid here when we started off the stream on the lower time frame. Sergej says, prachtige presentatie. Leuk om te horen, man. Dat is leuk om te horen. Welkom tot de stream. Yeah, the risk to reward ratio yesterday was insane. If I held on to the trade, it would have been an absolute... It would have been an insane risk to reward ratio. Definitely. And I got a message this morning when I woke up in my Instagram. People saying, yo, I'm still in this trade. I'm still in this trade. I'm like, bro, damn. And I woke up and I saw the Asian session pushing. I was like, man, you're set. You're absolutely set right now. You're golden. Yeah. What is this Orderflow platform? This is called the Exit Charge. Like I already said yesterday, I'm still waiting for the confirmation here. But they actually reached out, right? Came back to them. They reached out back to me and they said, yo, we are willing to give you some giveaway promos. So we will probably be able to give away some codes so you can use this, so you can actually get a month free access to this platform as well. I'm not here promoting them, by the way. Right? I'm not making any money over it, but it's just for the community, for the people in the chat. And especially the guys that I see that are coming back and that are very active and that are, spreading positivity. It's definitely worth it to give them some access to and maybe study. Yeah, so they can study this same method right here. All right, what we're seeing right now is that sellers in this wick, in this 50 minute candle, you see the 490 here, right? These are more sellers than buyers right now, and these sellers are stuck. So if this candle closes in 3 minutes, then we will have a large absorption where sellers now are stuck in their trade. So if the new 50-minute candle gets created, it could be that the 41, the 42 will hold here. Right, but we'll find support in that 42. But in order to capitalize on it from like a risk-reward standpoint, right, we really need to break the highs, or we need to break above the that box right here. Right, we really want to make sure that buyers are actually in control. And the only way to do that is by taking out sellers that took control before. Okay, so sellers took control here, price pushed down, buyers absorbed it, large order, large market order, 187 contracts, pretty big, and then a lot of buying, and the price got respected. Price is now pushing higher. Sellers came in, trying to break down, failed. Now we're going to close this candle. We're going to see where it's all about here. Okay, oil is slowing down. All right, sellers are getting absorbed here. Now, for me, it's not a reason to buy yet. I'm just saying, for me, it's not a reason to buy yet. But I can see the trend. I can see how this absorption is interesting. And of course, with oil being a bit weaker right now, the dollar being in that resistance here, right? It makes sense that we find some support for gold right now. And of course, we are at the value area low as well here. We are at the value area low. And we're finding support at the value area low. But yeah, this is still a no trading zone for me right now at the moment. But it's interesting to see and observe, right? And by observing the market like this, you start recognizing these patterns very, very quickly. And with recognizing these patterns, you will be able to just unconsciously create that competence. We call it unconscious competence, okay? This is what happens if you put in the work and if you are consistent following one system. Mastering one system will lead you to the moon, all right? Over time. Hyper-focused. Do you suggest using live money or funded, and why? Well, that all depends on your personal situation. I have nothing against funded accounts. I love funded accounts as well here. I do. Because you can find a really good system around this. And especially if you are a scalper, it's very helpful right now. So why not? You need to start somewhere. And by the way, you can scale, put it in your live account, and compound your live account. So why not doing both? Why not doing both? Okay, so we close this candle above that area. We will see how we react right now. But we're still in no trading range. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the reaction here on the 50-minute. Do you see what I mean here, guys? Okay? That's what I mean. That initial reaction, right? An initial reaction. Sellers are pulling back. We're still not there. What do you want to see? I want to see price coming down and then pushing up. But if we push up and break above, yeah, the 61, 62, yeah, we can't neglect. We know that buyers are in control. We know the buyers are in control. What's happening, my friend? Thank you for the sub. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you on the stream. Welcome to the stream here. Yeah, this is episode 12. We've been taking live trades here on this channel. I like to keep it transparent. I like to just show you my trading system here. And look at that. Do you know what I mean here? This is what we call trapped seller absorption. A trapped selling absorption. Right here. Okay? Right at the very low. That's a great example. That's a great example once again here. But the question is there going to be follow-through? Is there going to be follow-through? That's what we're trying to figure out right now. Is there going to be follow-through here? The 5-minute is undervalued. Oil is weakening. So you want to see this. You want to see that follow-through here. Oil is still coming down. I would love to have some feedback from the chat here, especially from the guys that are coming here already consistently, that kind of get the point here of what we're doing. I think after 12 episodes, you kind of can get the hang of what we're doing here right now, right? It's starting to become a bit more clear. Let me know what you think about the situation. You think that these two scenarios make sense? Share your observation in the chat. Let's go back and forth here. Let's use our time wisely. Give me 1 second. Yes, sir. Okay, great, John. Makes sense. Perfect. Lorenzo, the U.S. war is peak cinema so far. Do you think Trump will bring us the biggest surprise? Man, we'll figure it out. But look at that absorption in that candle, geez. Wow. Look at that, right? Prime example. Prime example. We call that our red box absorption play. I don't know how to call it. I need to give it a word. We'll figure it out. How do we call these boxes, man? WBO, man, just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Good to see you. Yeah, okay, so it seems to be now, right? Look at the 5-minute here that we're kind of undervalued. So again, the undervaluation played out here and it found support. Okay, but now that we're breaking above the point of control here, we have to pay a lot of attention. How will this 50-minute candle close? Right? Will we close above the VWAP? Will we close above our zone? And if we do, right, will we find support at the 55s, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. Or the 62, actually. So that pullback right now will give us the confirmation, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a prime example of an absorption right here on the 15-minute. Yeah, look at oil dropping. The dollar is dropping. So this is what we're seeing right now. We marked out the right area of resistance for oil. And this gives us a clear direction that we might not get to our higher time frame point of interest. And we stay in that range. So the pullback will be very crucial here. Very, very crucial here. The buyers are surprising me. I expected a further pullback. Yeah, this is what I wanted. I agree with you. But the reality was that oil was weaker. The dollar is slowing down. That this gives gold that support here. We saw a huge buyer stepping in here. A lot of buying in a row, and then a lot of sellers trying to push price down, but they were unable to do so, right? They were unable to break further. But hey, we haven't closed this 50-minute candle yet, so these closures to me are very, very, very important. These closures on the 50-minute especially are crucial. They are crucial because it really matters where we close. Because if you close above trapped sellers, right, then usually it will be supported. And if you close below, it will immediately acting as an area of resistance as well. So it's very important to watch these closures. And the 50-minute can just flip. It can just, boom, turn around, right? We have seen it before where the last 3 minutes of the 50-minute candle is where the most volume comes in. That's usually the real move, but yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah. We're now currently getting rejected the VWAP as well. We're definitely not out of the woodworks yet too. We're still at no trading zone. Yeah, we have some music for you guys as well. You know, I'm tired of all these beach clubs here in Bali. So I'm building my own beach club right now, in-house. Just so you understand. Yeah. That is the real reason why we're doing this. You need some good vibes, you know? You need to get into the market with positivity. There we go. Buyers are stepping in. This closure will be crucial in 7 minutes. It will really set the standard for the rest of the session, in my opinion. This 50-minute closure, especially if it closes really strong. Dark Soul just subscribed, my man. Welcome. I hope to see you consistently here on this stream. Because we're going through all the cycles together, all the different market conditions. The first 2 hours, the New York session. Gold, our favorite instrument. Always fun trading gold. Never disappoints. Never disappoints. Sometimes we look at the NQ as well here. Just to look at the open, observe it a little bit. I'm still learning about it. You know, I'm trying to get better into the indices as well here. But man, I've been hyper focused on trading gold right now. I love it. I like everything about it. And if you have a profitable system that works, you need to exploit it. And you need to be consistent with it, right? All right, so we have... now, sellers are weakening. Sellers are slowing down here. I don't see any selling coming in really at the top, especially not aggressive. We have some resistance though. Sellers are coming in a little bit. I think you will be seeing more in the 5 minute. I think it's on the 5 minute a bit more clear. Yeah, there we go. This is on the 5 minute very, very clear. We just saw that 5 minute closure right now. So You know, you can definitely see that again in the last 5 minutes. A lot can happen. This is why these 50-minute closures to me are very, very important. Because it will actually determine exactly what will happen around here. And if it is indeed closes now bearish, yeah, then we most likely try to pull back a bit further. So, yeah, we talked about these closures being so important. And this is a good example. Oh, it's welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Amazing. Lorenzo, I have a question. Where the volume profile shows no volume? There are always gaps, and this shows low volume, those imbalances. How is that price respects these higher time frames for value gaps? You're talking about the low volume node, okay? This is what we call an unfinished auction, an unbalanced area or zone. We talk about it in our book. You can actually find this right here. All right, it's somewhere at the beginning where we talked about the low volume nodes and why this is important. So we talk about it in our book and explain the low volume nodes and why we could see a reaction from those zones, okay? Very interesting. Sometimes price moves quickly through it, but it could also be that we're seeing an absorption after that. So it kind of balances it out here. That's what people call a fair value gap, right? Or something in that manner. We call it a low volume node. Look at oil selling off though. Look at that. That is a big deal. Oil coming back down again. Yeah. The metal sector is green today. The dollar is neutral, right? The 10-year yield is relatively weak. Oil is weak. Money flows from one instrument into another. And the metal sector is winning today. Okay? The metal sector is once again winning today. So are the stocks, if I'm correct. Yeah. At least they're doing okay. Gold is doing clearly better. Lorenzo, what about any mentorship or any courses? I do not currently sell anything, my friends. Man, but I'm getting so many messages in the Instagram right now. I don't know what happened, man. Something clicked. I don't know what it is, but ever since we started this order flow and the volume profile, and actually sharing this gold trading system right now live in these last 12 episodes, man, it just something clicked. Something clicked. It's incredible to see. My suggestion is, man, just come on the streams, enjoy the process, and yeah, be consistent if you're really interested in learning. And you know, even if you don't use order flow, you can still learn and observe it, right? Because you can get some really good feedback upon it live, at least. Which is also important to kind of see, okay, what is happening in real time on the other side. Is this gold? Yes, this is gold. Look at my thumbnail, my friend. Look at my thumbnail. All right, so sellers are still willing to step in here. Look at that's what I mean. This impulse was great, but what about follow through, right? How do you read the 4-hour candle right now? It's pretty, it's clearly very neutral. All right. We're clearly seeing a lot of, absorption on both sides. We're very indecisive today. Again, it's a Wednesday, guys, right? Have you guys noticed the Wednesdays in general are the trickier days during the New York session here? Okay. We kind of have seen this before as well here, so we have to be very, very precise. All right, so we do have a 50-minute closure. This is not convincing yet, in my opinion. It's not convincing yet. We're still below the VWAP here. We didn't close above this red box right here. We really want to see closure above this red box in particular. That would make me feel more confident. There's definitely more an absorption here. If you go to the 5-minute, you can see definitely how sellers are coming back and how buyers will probably step in around the 50. Okay. Around the 50, we'll probably see some buyers stepping in here. Around the 50, I think we'll see some buyers stepping in. Yeah, it makes sense because this is where the sellers where the sellers were the most active. We closed above these sellers, though. That's a good part. And that's the 50 as well. So, yeah, we will probably find some support at the 50s here. The 5-minute right now is getting to an overvaluation, so I think it's still a bit too early for buys. Very, very tricky today. But, the ideal would just simply be, guys, really get down, manipulate the lows, and then make that move, right? That would be the, that would be top notch. If you could get down, that would be ideal. Because this closure above here is not the closure that we really want to see here in the short term. That convinces us, okay, buyers are rocking right now, killing it. But if the volume here comes down, okay, you have this one, 790, right? In the 5-minute candle, 602. And if this again is lower, okay, so it's lower than 602, that means the volume is dropping into the area where buyers to control here. So that could mean we will find support right now around this moment here. Okay, 2.5 minutes left for this 5-minute closure. We are reacting from the point of control. So this is where this is definitely an area where buyers could be stepping in right now, seeing that the volume is decreasing on the lower time frame here. Yeah, this is definitely a hyper scalping session for now. Really lower time frame scalps. They're very clear. What we're kind of trying to look for is the expansion, if we're going to see one today. Yeah, closure, buyers, volume coming down. Again, that absorption here. This is a very good sign, okay? The reason why is because if we can now say, okay, we're finally going to close above these sellers here, and the 15-minute actually comes up again. Yeah, we close above it because this is where the sellers came in, right? Yeah, then I do think that we have that continuation, and I do believe that this could read into what we call an entry model 1 on the point of control. Okay? An entry model 1 on the point of control. It's actually in our book right here under the execution framework. And it actually looks like this. Okay? Candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, breakdown. Okay? It seems like the order flow is forming, is printing something like this right now. But let's see if we can follow through. That's an important level to see. A break above here. I'm gonna mark out a level here. Right there. That's what needs to be broken. So we're not far. We might not be that far away. Let's see. Yeah, if you want to go back to the higher time frame, guys, okay? Just want to clarify this. If you want to go back to the higher time frame analysis, then I highly recommend to go back into the beginning of the stream. Scroll a little bit back, because we did a deep dive into the higher time frame and why we're looking for buys for now. What confirmation are you waiting for? I'm waiting for either the break above the 56. Yesterday, it was very clear that we had a limit order set here. It was very obvious. And that we just got into our limit order and then price came up. Today, I'm actually looking for something similar. But buyers are very strong right now. They're holding up really well. Okay? And because they're holding up really well, that we have to kind of also acknowledge that we might not get there. Okay? That's why we have to look at the... that's why I'm looking at the lower time frame, the 5 minute. The 5 minute time frame on gold to see if we can follow through and actually break the 56, 62. Sorry, what is it? No, my bad. The 66. My bad. And if you cannot, right? If you break down and we cannot break the 56, then yeah, we just be patient, waiting for price to hopefully pull down here. But I would love to see price breaking down on the 15 or 5 minute, re-manipulating or retaking out the lows, getting to an undervaluation, and then buying. That's to me is like golden zone. That's the golden zone here. Okay. I think there's someone running a scam on your book. What do you mean running a scam on my book? The book is free. Comedy King says, such a great trading strategy, sir. I'm a big fan. Amazing to hear that, man. Good to see you, Martin, man. Welcome. Thank you for the sub here. Yeah, today we're a bit in a tricky range, so we have to be patient, guys. We have to be patient. Yesterday was top notch when we talked about our entry here. We were also very patient, and it paid off very well. Our patience paid off very well. So hopefully today I see something similar happening. But right now, there is no clarity internally if buyers or sellers are actually here in control. You see it on both ends here. So we're still in our no trading zone right now. So I'm waiting patiently for this to happen here. John Williams, how is your girlfriend today? Yeah, she's doing good, man. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. Yeah, dollar is pushing back up a bit, so there is more pressure on Goldie. Yeah, no confirmation now. So I'm gonna mark out here, waiting for the right confirmation. There we go. What is the win rate of the strategy? So the win rate actually varies, just so you know that, okay? So it comes down to the average win rate, but it can vary. There are going to be periods where the market just runs like a well-oiled machine and the win rate is really, really high. So this strategy has a high variance, right, in terms of win rate. But what I can say is that the average risk to reward can also be very, very high as well here, which allows you not having to win every trade and still end up profitable. We're still holding up really well. Look at the sellers. Sellers are coming in. They're unable to do and push price down. We are back at our box. We talked about this right here, the 50s, right? We talked about we would find support at the 50s. Yeah, this is where we are reacting from right now. We're reacting from the 50s here. Look at that. Great example. We marked out our green box. Buyer stepped in here. We pulled back. Volume was coming down. And yeah, buyer stepped in here again. So this is why we said the 50s will most likely provide us with some support. But the real question is, will there be follow through? Danny, good to see you. I do like this 50-minute candle right now. I like how it's holding up above the point of control. Not bad. It's not bad. Buyers are coming in. We have how long for this closure now? 4 minutes? 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes to go. Yeah, keep in mind, guys, 4 minutes, we also have the New York Stock Exchange open. So, we might see some volume. Bro, I want to join your VIP team. How to join? We're currently closed, but I'm not accepting anyone or anything in our group at the moment. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions around this now. But like I said before, man, just join the live streams. You're going to find a lot of information here. You have to book. We're going to come here, 5 days a week. So we will be here. And I think every day, if you are consistent here, then I think that you can attend, let's say, most of the streams. I truly believe you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot because you're going to see the different market conditions, right? It's usually the different market conditions that will that you will learn. Because we have to adapt to the market condition. Sometimes you have to be more aggressive. Sometimes we can buy higher. Sometimes we have to wait for price to come down. Buy limits are getting set, for example. It all depends on the actual status of the market. Now we're in a balanced trading session with relatively low volume in the midweek. So this means that confirmation is going to be the right confirmation is going to be key today, and definitely no forcing is needed. Yesterday was very, very clear. We set the limit order. We just had to wait, and that's it. Right? Today is much more about the confirmation here. The confirmation is coming in. But yeah, I do see the buyers coming in now. Sellers are trying to push down. They're failing. They are failing. At this moment, they are failing. They are failing to push price down. But I'm still waiting for that 66 break. Yo, I'm near. Do you make calls live or just explaining how the market works? Yeah, my suggestion is to watch the previous stream yesterday. Okay. This is how we where we stepped into the market, and yeah, this is pretty much where we got to. And then other days we lose, for example, sometimes as well, right? We're not always winning, but if we're winning, it's usually a relatively high risk reward setup. So that compensates a lot. That compensates a lot. All right. So 66 is still not there, but buyers are coming in right before the New York Stock Exchange opens. So this is a very important moment. I do see the dollar recovering here. I also see oil right now finding that support as well. So it's a bit, this is typical. This is really typical before the New York Stock Exchange opens up. It creates some sort of disconnect, right? Well, look at that. Look at the buyers coming in here. Are the previous daily highs and previous daily lows useless? No. No. They are not useless at all. They can be working as great targets. Great areas to look for reversals for as well. There's definitely good things around the previous daily highs, previous daily lows, but also the daily highs and the daily lows if you trade New York. Okay, volume. Closure. There we go. Now we can kick it off here. Now the party's starting here. Okay, now we're going to see something happening here. We're overvalued on the 5 minutes, so I do still expect some sort of pullback here. All right, so we can't enter buys now. We have to wait for the pullback because this is very overextended here. We might even drop again. I would not be surprised if we come down further. But this allows me to think that we might actually respect the range today. We might expect to react or bounce from the bottom of the range again. Look at that rejection. But we do have at least some sort of confirmation that buyers are really serious here. We're in the middle of the range today. We created this range during Asia. We have not left the range yet. Higher time frame resistance. We're back at it as well here, the hourly. So the 5 minutes is overvalued. We are back in it hourly. So we're definitely seeing some contradiction here. But buyers are pushing. Okay. Buyers are pushing right now. Another important layer, which I think is very crucial as well for these streams as well here for my analysis, for example, is that besides the live trading executions, which we do as much as we can when the market is giving us opportunities, of course, that are clear, there are also things called scenarios, right? Market scenarios that I look for. If you really paid attention to the market scenarios, I think you could find some really, really good opportunities, right? So also pay attention to the setups, right? Because I don't want to leave you with a live stream sometimes with empty. I don't want to leave you empty-handed. I want to make sure that you at least have the full understanding of the right levels, the right areas of interest, the right scenarios, so that potentially once the volume comes in after the stream or whatever, that you at least have an understanding of, okay, A, B, C, D, X or Y. These are the scenarios. These are the plans, right? Something I would do outside of the stream, for example, as well. So regardless, I'll make sure that you are updated. Slavi says, please all like the live and Lorenzo will continue with these amazing sessions. Yes, this is the only thing that I'll be asking for you guys, is to just like the streams. If you guys like the insights in the order flow and the volume profile and the initial analysis on the higher time frame, where we go to everything, the only thing that that we're doing here, you know, is free education and is to like the channel. So like this video, because this will help the channel grow. And keep in mind, this only has been episode number 12, guys. That's it. Episode number 12. We're back after a long period, and man, we have a long, long way to go. We have a long way ahead of us here. Okay? A long way ahead of us. Wow, look at that. Look at that contradiction here. The 81s are sitting right there as well here, right? Wow, look at that reaction. We have also this area. Then there's nothing stopping us from going higher. I can guarantee you. Once we break the highs here, it's probably not going to be a fake out. But yeah, we're definitely overvalued in the short term. So I would not be surprised to see one more pullback. I might sell a limit order already, to be honest. Now I'm looking at it a bit lower. I'm thinking about setting a limit order here just because of the following reason. And that is, let me actually set it up. Lorenzo, there's a beautiful woman walking around in your house. Be careful, she could steal something like your heart. I have a heart of steel, my friend. A heart of steel. Don't worry about it. John, the man. Okay, so anyways, we're seeing... yeah, a lot of support. A lot of support, but Oh, what a mess. Let's go. Let's zoom out, man. Let's just zoom out. We bounced from this area. We did bounce from this area. Buyers are stepping in here. This is the resistance now. We can definitely see that. The 5 minutes overvalued, so we're slowing down. So the 5 minute is definitely giving us the clarity that we are gonna potentially pull back. Thinking about a good area for at least a limit order already. Because it might become a very boring session where we just will stay within the range itself. So if that's the case, then I will see where we can. Let me look at the 15 minute. Yeah, the 15 minute is still relatively undervalued. We are getting lower. Somewhere around the 40s. Just zooming out, getting to the higher time frame. So it's a bit messy here. Wow. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, this is typical Wednesday price action. That's for sure. We can definitely see that. The 38. The 38. With the very low here. The 15 minute. The 5 minute is slowing down a little bit. The dollar is finding that support. Oil is finding that support. The dollar is also pushing now. This is why gold is kind of having a hard time at this moment. We're still respecting the lows, but it's yeah, there are two levels that we're looking at right now. The 50, number one, again, finding that same support here. We're a bit overvalued on the 5 minute, so a little bit of a pullback is, I think, needed. Or the 40, actually the 38. I think I'm going to kick it off with the 38 first. Give this a shot. Let me actually now make this and turn this into a limit order. I think I'm willing to set the limit order at 38. And we also have the 50, but it all depends on the 5 minute here. This is still relatively overvalued, so I think we're going to start low and then we'll see. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do now. And if we do break higher, right, there are a lot of potential scenarios here. If we do break out of the range, there are a lot of potential scenarios for potential continuation plays, but we're still facing some resistance now. We don't really have to follow through that. We wanted to see the volume coming in that we wanted to see here. Buyers are still struggling to push price higher. So we are overvalued on the 5 minutes. So we are not allowed, I'm not allowed to take a buy when we're overvalued. Okay? That's just the rule, because we can get better entries. This is a high, overvalued. This is a high, overvalued. We're here overvalued, and now we're overvalued. So why should we ignore this, right? Why should we ignore that continuous overvaluation here, where we tend to find short-term tops? Not long-term tops, just short-term tops. We want to have the wind in our back, right? Not in the front. When I was a little boy in the Netherlands, all right, I was riding my bicycle to school. And there were days, trust me, bro, there were days where it took me 20 minutes to get to my school because I had the wind in my back, okay? But when it was raining and I had the wind against me, these were tough times. These are tough times. It took me an hour to get back to my place, okay? On the bicycle from school. It took an hour. It's very common that you do that when you're 12, 13 years old in the Netherlands, okay? So we want to have the wind in our back, not the wind in the front, okay? This is clearly the reason why we didn't want to buy now. Go with the flow. Yes, I like that. I like that, Brad. I like that. I like that. Already almost at 500 likes, man. In around, what? 1 hour, 40 minutes. This is... we're breaking records, every time. We're breaking new records with you guys. My goal here is to just show consistency, okay? If I show consistency, and we show consistency here on the streams, and we just follow that system over time, you understand why this is so powerful. Why that consistency will pay off if you just are focused. We can't control the market conditions, but we can control ourselves throughout these conditions. Reza Matt, my friend, thank you, sir, for the sub. Welcome to the streams. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so I'm thinking about setting a limit order. I have a couple levels in mind. I'm just observing. The reason why I haven't done this yet is because I'm observing how we're pulling back here. On the tool, on the valuation here, how we're pulling back. So I can kind of guess where we will find that reaction from an order flow perspective. We have the 50, we have the 38. Then we have the 40, you know, that's the 38. Actually the 40. Yeah, and then after that, we just, that's where the large support is at. It's still below, but you know, that's just right now, it seems to be a bit too far away. But we are literally in the range today. We swiped the London lows. And we are kind of in the middle. We took out the London highs beforehand, before the New York Open. Then we swapped the London lows, and now we're in the middle. Now we're in the middle of the range. What a limit order? Yeah, it's a buy limit order. Exactly. That was my initial approach or reaction here. But man, buyers are strong. Buyers are willing to step in right now. Definitely a battle going on here. But let's see if the higher time frame. Higher time frame zones are always stronger. We have to take that in consideration, right? The higher time frame zones are always stronger. We wanted to see that strong push up and that push down, that pullback. We need admins in the chat. Well, I completely agree. We need some moderators in the chat. That's for sure. But I'm like, we have such a good chat. I don't have to delete anything. In this chat, I don't have to delete anything. It just works. You guys just are on point. You know what I mean? You guys are on point. Don't have to delete anything. Krusty says, Lorenzo, maybe today gold will range because tomorrow we have the initial jobless claims. Yeah, tomorrow we do, but that's usually not a really big, a really big catalyst. It does react. Clearly, we look at it every day or every week, but it's not a clear catalyst. Trump is speaking again, though, right? In the morning, for me. In the evening in New York. So that might be something that people are waiting for. Who knows, right? Who knows? All right, we're dropping, right? We're dropping. So, hey, it was not the right moment to buy yet. We're overvalued here. I'm waiting for my buy limit. I'm looking at a level. I have a couple levels in mind, but right now it seems that we might drop. The dollar is also holding up really well. So in the end, it will put extra pressure on gold as well here. Oil as well. Oil has found some local support right now on the 15-minute time frame. This also will put some more pressure on the metal sector like gold. Yeah, the 10-year yield is dropping. It's correlated to the dollar, so it makes sense. Oh, it's actually holding up, sorry. It's not too strong. But the dollar is pushing. All right, gold has some resistance here now. So yeah. So I need to be really patient today, man. I can already see the market. It's all over the place. Especially since 9 a.m. You're putting a great deal of work into that book. Yes, I had a great team. Incredible. Worked on it for a long time. So yeah. Writing a book, I always say, is not the best thing. It takes a lot of time. But then formulating the whole book, putting it together, that's what takes the most time. So yeah, it's an actual book. It's not a 3-pager. It's 300 pages. Okay, it's no joke. 300 pages with all the data. So yeah, just to give you the understanding that we're serious here. We're doing things from a perspective of understanding real data, right? We're really trying to understand the market, and then we're fine-tuning, right? Then I'm looking at a trading strategy system, and that's what I'm displaying on the live streams. So if you read the book and you see other things, it's the bigger picture, it's the framework, okay? But within the framework, we build strategies, and this is one of those. So it's just an example. This is the framework of the framework. The framework of the framework. Yeah, so if you say I want to sell aggressively, then it might be a risky short, but I do see the overvaluation. You do see the selling pressure. I would not be surprised if we're trying to push down, but there is also a lot of absorption here. I'm much more confident with waiting for a manipulation and then looking for the buy. It's still what I'm looking for. We just talked about it on the higher time frame. We had a long session in the morning, or at the beginning of the stream, where we said, hey, we have a higher time frame zone. We have a higher time frame target, which is the 46.50. We are holding up really well, right? On the 30-minute, we are definitely holding up really well. Look at that, right? So I'm not trying to really sell here. I'm really trying to see if we can manipulate, break down, get into our higher time frame zone, and bounce and get towards higher time frame resistance here. This is just a little refresher. Back to the order flow, back to the higher time frame here. Right, we can see this very, very clearly. This is where we see a lot of trapped buying. So on the Thursday candle, that's the candle. We're seeing a lot of buyers stepped in early in the session and price reversed. These buyers were trapped in their position. They were stuck. They are either liquidated right now or they're still in their position. This is where we will find selling pressure. This is what we call a real area of supply, okay? So when you guys know the supply and demand zones, this is the 12-hour supply zone right here, rally-based drop. But in that Thursday candle, okay, this is where a lot of buyers stepped in. This is why this is a real zone, a real area of resistance. So what we're doing here is we're trying to figure out if we can trade towards this as our target. And once we are potentially there, if you could look for the reversal in the short term. That is the reaction. That's the reaction we're looking for after that, because it will be a major zone, okay? And also here, we will have a major zone as well. It's also from yesterday's candle. The range that we created yesterday will be also a very important zone if we manage to pull back into this. Because guess what? A lot of selling, a lot more selling in this range than buying. These sellers are trapped. This is why we look to buy. We look to buy where sellers are trapped. We look to sell where buyers are trapped. I hope that makes sense. Right now, we're in the middle. We're in the middle. So we have to deal with this on a Wednesday, okay? But the only logical thing that I'm looking for is a clear undervaluation at the moment, because the intraday trend seems to be more bullish in our zone on the 4-hour. And actually see if we could find our entries right there, okay? But right now, like I said before, we're undervalued. We're overvalued. We are dropping. All right, this is the lower time frame. This is where we use valuation because we want to understand if the timing of our entry is correct, okay? We're getting to an undervaluation right now. We're heading towards the 40s. The dollar is pushing hard. So we might actually get there. We might actually push down. The 50-minute is also close to that undervaluation here. It's coming. It's definitely coming here. We're definitely getting to a conclusion soon. I can see the reaction here in the hourly, and the lower time frame is definitely pushing down. So our next zone right now, our next level right now will be the 38. And if we can continue to drop, if you know we don't see buyers stepping in here, then it's maybe actually gonna break down towards that higher time frame zone. So maybe in the end, our initial analysis will actually come to fruition. We'll see. Damn. What a day today. What a messy day today. Monthly candle is overall bearish. I don't think it will change. Well, the thing is, the monthly candle will definitely not change. We have around 6 days left. I doubt that we will get there, right? Definitely. But we shouldn't look at the monthly candle right now because, yes, we're bearish. We have a lot of weekly and daily levels to deal with, okay? So I like to look at it day by day, all right? Not look too far into the future because a lot can happen from Trump speaking, whatever the case may be here. So, yeah. Definitely not the monthly now. Yeah, waiting for the right level. I'm probably already gonna set here I'm probably gonna do it now already, and I'm gonna move my limit upwards later on. But this is a very strong rejection on the hourly time frame, and we will close this hourly candle in around 7 minutes from now. Okay, so that means that right now, if we close bearish with a lot of buying, it will force more resistance here. So the 4 hour is gonna give me some hope right now. 45.10. Yeah, I'm gonna set a limit order already. And I'm gonna potentially move it up later. So don't think that this will be my entry. It might be that I will be trying to push price up later. But I just see potential in a sweep and then a bullish reaction. But let's see, we're holding up. We are reacting for the 40s. The 50-minute I want to see getting undervalued as well. That would be ideal. The 5-minute is getting there already as well. So buyers are still holding, respecting, they're pushing, they're trying to, but it's definitely a bit of a messy situation. 910, by the way. 910 contracts executed there at the 40s. That's a big one. That's a big one, though. But the hourly closure is going to be key here. All right, 6 minutes for the hourly closure. But yeah, I've at least set a limit order. I know that this will be a good limit order already from a perspective of value. The question is, will we get there, right? Will we get there? But yeah, 900 contracts in a single execution. That's a big boy. That is a big boy. Cool Honk says he seems just a commentator. The chat, let him know. Let him know. Let him know. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Yeah, dollar is holding up really well. The 40s are definitely getting respected right now, but I would love to see that push down to the 10s, to the 11s right there. I would love to see that reaction there. Yeah, we're gonna close this hourly candle in 4 minutes. Again, that absorption. But again, the close on the hourly will tell us a lot. It will tell us a lot about what's going on here. Right now, I feel very comfortable with the buy limit there at 45.11. I would be very comfortable if we drop here and then get there. But that doesn't mean we'll get filled. So we have to be flexible. We have to be flexible here. Or I have to be flexible. We talked about the 38, right? How we would find some support here as well. Let me see how many points this actually is. 40. Okay. And how many points would that be? 60. And then this would be 45. Okay. Okay. You know what I might do again? The same thing as what I did before here is splitting the risk into 2 limit orders, depending on the situation. So if we can close this kind of relatively good, then I might place a new limit. But the hourly candle is what matters for me now the most. And that closure. John. Yeah, thank you, man, John. You are a legend. You have some really constructive feedback as well. I like your thought process. I like your thought process a lot. Dollar is holding, but resistance. Oil slowing down again. Very balanced today, guys. Very balanced today. What a range. The ranges. The large move has been made during Asia. It seems like the old gold is back. Yesterday was wild though. Yesterday was crazy. But also, we stayed within the range yesterday. Keep in mind, this was pretty much a range. We were also in a balanced trading session yesterday when we took our long here. There was also a balanced session, so you never know. You never know when the volume comes in. Yeah, we're gonna close this hourly candle in around 55 seconds here. This is not looking good for the hourly, from an hourly perspective. Yeah, 2.8k contracts, a lot more buying and selling, but the candle, the doji candle, look at that, right? This is the hourly candle here. I hope you can see it clearly. Actually, let me change the settings of this candle so you don't actually can see what I mean here. The candle body width, side candle width, let's make it 15. Let's make it 20. Okay. Let me save it here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna actually share this with some of the guys. Some guys have been asking about the templates. There we go. This is the hourly candle. And the hourly candle is going to close in 11 seconds, 12 seconds. And if you close a candle bearish like that with a lot more buying than selling, that is not a good sign for gold now, okay? You want to avoid getting in here long, because this is usually where these buyers trying to push price higher, right? Why is there so much market buying? This is always a question you should ask yourself, like, if there is so much more buying than selling, right? Why does the candle then close bearish, or why does this candle close as like a reverse hammer? The reason is because there are a lot more sell limits getting activated right now, okay? This is important information. So sometimes when people see a candle like that, they just think, oh, there is a lot of selling here. But that's not always the truth. There could also be a lot of buying, aggressive buying, that buyers that are unable to push price higher. So this is more bearish. Okay, look what happens, right? Price breaks down. It squeezes down. It pushes lower. And again, and this is a question to the chat here, okay? Did the overvaluation play out here, guys? Did the overvaluation play out here? I'm going to keep showing you guys this over and over and over and over and over again. So you just see it. You can understand like the impact of why we should not buy here. Okay? And then people say, why don't you sell? And that's a good question, right? Why don't I sell there? And this has to do with my approach to the market in this overall trading session today. I'm looking to get into the best entries of the session, right? Yesterday, we got the best entry of the session. And I'm saying sometimes I think it's going to come down right now. It makes sense, right? Up to you to decide how you want to deal with this, what you want to do with this information. But I have a very strict plan, strategy that I follow. I follow the rules. Nah, the dollar is all over the place. Gold is respecting it. This is the start of the hourly candle. Look at that insane selling pressure on the last hourly candle, guys. Sell limit pressure. What a range today. Wow. What a range today. People are getting cooked. Holy moly. In this range? Wow. Let's see, man, if you have the balls to be patient. RS, Melendres, just subscribe. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the streams here. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, man. We are here for the next 2 days. Thursday and Friday. And Friday, we cover the trades of the week. This includes also the trade ideas that we had, okay? Not just the trades that we executed on the stream, but also the trades that we've discussed and why it makes sense as well. So at the end of the Friday stream, when we think that trading is over for the session, we'll cover some of the insights of the week, including the trades taken, the reasoning behind it. So I think Friday will be a very valuable session for you as well. Lucas Deller, same for you, my friend. Welcome. Where's your stop loss and TP? I don't have a TP yet in mind. I look at it, because we're in a balanced trading session, I'm not going to be too greedy. We're just going to observe how price reacts and where we can go to. For the stop loss, I would say definitely below the higher time frame point of interest. So the 4475. It's a 35-point stop, but you think, oh, that's a huge stop. But the reality is, the targets are also massive lately, right? So that's why I would feel that I'm completely invalidated, because from there, I believe you could drop all the way back down to yesterday's range. So I kind of observe it right now. But sometimes I close my trade earlier, right? It all depends on the situation. Just observe. But for now, my limit order is indeed set at the 11s, but we'll see how price goes from here. We're getting closer and closer to an undervaluation right now. That's for sure. Do you ever use the 30-minute? I noticed that it doesn't really make a lot of difference for me. The 50-minute and the hourly to me give me a good understanding of what is going on. The 50-minute, the hourly, and then the execution on the 5-minute. It's definitely helping me here. Yeah, on the 15, buyers are stepping in our box, our zone. We marked this zone out a while ago here. It's this zone right here. Look at how we're responding in it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and now 6 times, and now it's the 7th time. So yeah, we know that we have support here. We know we have support here, but why don't we have any follow through, right? This is also something that we have to ask ourselves. Why is there no follow through? We could still find that resistance and then pull down and actually still break. I feel very comfortable here buying right now. Like, I can confidently say that because we will be reaching a higher time frame support right here. One of my favorite boxes on the higher time frame, the 4-hour to be exact. We would deal with a severe undervaluation here, and it's a manipulation. It's where probably a lot of orders will get triggered, right? Sell stops will get triggered. So I like the combination of these 3 factors. But will we get there? That's the question. Or will we actually hold support here? For now, I would not change my limit order. The reason why I keep it here is because I still see that breakdown. I still see the potential that we get there. Ooh, nice song. Higher? No, lower. Not higher, lower. Definitely lower. Thank you for doing the live trading session. Amazing, man. Good to have you here, bro. Even in these market conditions, we're still grinding. The Wednesday range, the midweek ranges, we call them. Very common. The midweek ranges, we call that Trap City. And in Trap City, we tend to look for the extremes. So, where do most people get quote unquote stopped out? Or where do most people get filled? Right? Stop. Where do we expect a lot more aggressive sellers coming in here? Right? What could happen is that people think indeed that if we go, let's say, to the hourly, right? And we break down here. And people see that we're breaking down, and a lot of people will start selling. And they think, oh, it's breaking, we're gonna drop. And then nope. We have an absorption and price continues to go higher to our zone. That's why I like this zone, because it's not just that storyline that I just gave you guys. It is also a major area where sellers got trapped in this 4-hour candle. And it will align with an undervaluation as well here. So these are like the golden factors, in my opinion, on the 15-minute where we are undervalued and we have the combination. But are we gonna get down there, or are we just gonna range for the rest of this session here? Are you gambling on poly market, Lorenzo? Should I? I know you can predict if gold goes up or down, similar to the options market. You can predict by the end of the day if you think that gold will close higher or lower. I think with some order flow in the higher time frame, you can kind of predict pretty well, pretty accurately, if and with like a good win rate, if price could go up or down. I think it's definitely interesting to think about from that perspective, but it will still be trading related. If I would do any poly market stuff, it will be trading related. Yeah, so this is what I want to see, guys. I want to see the breakdown and the reversal, but we're finding support. We'll see if we can actually make some move here. We're just constantly going to respect it at the 40s. But something is coming. Something is happening here. We're waiting for that big move. Something big is coming soon. So pretty much when we opened the session, I think we're at the same price as the open. Let me actually see here. When was the open? The open was at 8. Yeah, we opened there, but we came down. We were kind of forming a double bottom. We took out the at the open, right? Before the open, we took out the London highs. We swept the London lows. Yeah, and now we're in the middle. So will I move my limit up? It just depends. It just depends. Because if we would break out here and we would pull back, then I believe that buyers are in control. I don't think it's a fake out, right? I think that I could see that buyers would definitely be in control here, and then yeah, I would definitely look for I would definitely push my limit somewhere up here, whatever on the pullback, whatever. But for now, I keep it where it is, and I just wait to see how price responds here. And you think, oh, this is gonna take forever, and it might be true if there's no volume. But if there's volume, this can happen very, very quickly. You know, we have seen this a lot, where it spikes down and boom, it gets absorbed and it reverses. Why are you waiting for a fake out to happen? Why are you not taking a buy from support? Because I don't really see the potential follow through right now. I'm not seeing the follow through that I want. Also, the volume is not really there right now. The 15-minute, right? Look at that. This is a 50-minute candle right here. We had 4.2K contracts, 3.7. Now we have 2.8. And it was a mixture of buying and selling. It's very indecisive here. And the volume is coming down here. So it's the combination of these factors. We're also trading below the VWAP, so our risk-to-reward ratio is not that big right now. Okay? You also think from that perspective of what is our risk, what is our reward, and does it make sense to take a trade here and then exit here? I mean, it could be, but if I want to think about the trade of the day, I think that the better opportunities are going to be something like this or something like this. And I do believe that the volume will come, but it might just be a bit later. And in this range, right now, anything is possible. Seems like that right now. Yeah. On the 5 minute, we had an overvaluation. So that was definitely another reason to not buy. Price came down here. We're now finding that there's short-term lower time frame resistance again. So in this range, you need to go to the 1 minute time frame and scalp the 1 minute time frame if you want to be active. But this just shows us we're setting up for something here. The volume will probably come in on Thursday's AMD. Let's see. We do have Mr. Trump speaking, right? We do have Mr. Trump speaking later on. Later tonight. That's for sure. Any indicator is good for scalp trading. I think that valuation is super key. Similar to the RSI, but then on steroids. I think it's very, very interesting on the lower time frame. But you should never use an indicator to trade and say, okay, I'm gonna wait for this indicator to be there and trade it this way. That's not usually how it works. People utilize indicators like most people just think too simple around indicators. Oh, if it's there, I buy. If it's there, I sell. But usually there are a lot more things happening in the market which formulate a trading idea, a bias, or an execution. And there are usually multiple different factors that need to align here, right? This is what we call confluence building. So if you can build a system where you have 1, 2, 3 different things, it doesn't have to be complicated. And these 3 things are aligned, then you have a system behind it, which can help you with understanding what's going on, right? So just the indicator is not going to do it. But the combination of the indicator, yeah, I think makes more sense. Which indicator you use for volume? On the right, that's the Xau charts, my friend. That's the Xau charts. That is the Xau charts. Enrique says, I love your book. Great book. Amazing. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. Yeah, I think today this will probably be the most rangy session of the week. In comparison to, for example, yesterday. Yesterday was rangy too, but at least during New York, we had that manipulation and that reaction. So we sniped the bottom there. And then on the Monday, we had a huge sell-off right there, right? And that was overall quite an aggressive trading day. So that was a very nice one as well. But today is very, very flat. So we're waiting for at least some more volume coming. I'm going to give it a bit more time for sure to see if it can happen. Overall, I hope that you guys are liking the current learning process right now, because this is also part of the learning process, guys. Really, this is all part of the learning process. It's the different market sessions, the different ranges, the different conditions during the week. You enter these different cycles, right? These different phases, the expansion phases, the accumulation or distribution phases. I'll have to treat it a little bit differently. So when you can recognize these quickly, you can adapt quickly. And the better you are at adapting, the better trader you will become. And this is something that I'm trying to work on every day, every week. I'm trying to be better at understanding the expectations of the day. So I'm working on this consistently, trying to get better at it. Yeah, and the new candle selling coming in. It's in accumulation, I think. But the entry is there. The entry is there. I have it set, and who knows? Lorenzo, waiting for your promo on extra charge. Yes, like I said before, I'm not promoting extra charge. I'm not making any money over extra charge. But we will be giving away some promo codes. They came back and they said, sure, love your live streams. Here are some giveaway promos for people so they can try it out for a month if they like it. So that would be really nice. These are like the good things, right? You can like ask for certain things. And you say, hey, listen, like I've been using this thing on my stream. And they said, oh, that's awesome. Here's your community. If you have a community, we can give them some giveaways, some promos. That could be an amazing giveaway. And then you need to take it serious, right? If you get it, you need to take it serious for a month and just study the shit out of it. Yeah, I'm going to send you that workspace very, very soon. Just so you know, my friend. This the template. I can export this, put it in Google Drive. Right here, I think. And then I can give it. It should be quite easy. You have to import it and then you're set. Yeah, it took a long time for me to create this perfect cluster of candles and stuff so it looks good. But once it's there, your eyes are getting used to it and you start to recognize things quickly. So it's very, very nice, very interesting. Philanthropist. Exactly. 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 Where can we download your book? You can download it in the chat, my friend. I will post the link. It's free. All right, sellers are back, baby. They are back. 6 minutes for this 50-minute. I cannot see clearly now on the order flow really clearly in this range who is actually in control here because it's constantly switching. And this is why we call this a balanced trading session, because when buyers step in, they push price up, and then sellers come in and they push price down, but there is no climax, there is no conclusion, there is no expansion. Bro, you should make a tutorial on how to use the void profile. It will be good for knowledge, yeah. We're talking about it on stream, but yeah, I will pretty much summarize how I mark out the void profile in the book, for example. Right here. And then all the different things right here. So we have the weekly cycle. We just talked about that, right? Why mastering the weekly cycle is essential. Super, super important. The opening price, how price moves throughout the week. And then, of course, we draw the volume profile with the weekly, the daily, the fixed, which is the ranges, and then the swing, which is the large swings. Yeah, different ways. So we can mark out on the video, we can show you guys that. But I also prefer to do this live and just explain it live. In the end, I'm a streamer type of guy. Okay? I like to just put on the camera and I start yapping. All right, I start yapping until the end. That's my thing. I like to yap live without cuts. Just straight up talking. And then today I'm talking extra because the market is not moving. So just so you understand the reason why I'm yapping so much. But I still hope you're learning something here, because we're going through some very important information as well right now. You can definitely see that in these type of sessions, patience is just so important. Greg Solomon says, hi Lorenzo, Greg from South Africa. Thanks for the hard work to help people, mate. Absolutely amazing human spirit. Thank you, man. Would love to come over to your country, by the way. It's definitely on my list. Cape Town. It's definitely on my list. It's definitely going to be there. Okay, so since the open, we pretty much are in the range. But when did we close here? It's 10:30. What is this hourly candle doing? How much volume do we see here? Yeah, 4.8K, right? So that means we're only, last candle had 14,000 contracts executed. The 4.8K right now in 30 minutes. So yeah, we're definitely losing momentum here. But that's actually a good thing, okay? Because that means that we're actually seeing that when the volume is dropping, it usually means we're preparing for the larger expansion soon. Because if there's less volume, there's less pressure, right? Are you gonna keep this limit order? Yeah, for now, definitely. Like, I'm definitely gonna keep in this order right now. I'm not saying that we're gonna get filled right away, but I'm gonna keep it definitely now. Until anything changes here. Yeah. John says the race is good, just sitting here selling tops and buying bottoms. Yeah, that actually, this is something that I might actually adjust to over time on the streams, to be honest. Like, if we experience a day like this, I can also say, you know what, guys, we are in that hyper range. I might go for the hyper scalping. I might start hyper scalping too here, because I could definitely see some potential scenarios. But that means that, you know, you just get in, get out. No targets, nothing, right? Just boom. But I know that later on today we'll see probably the larger move happening. So I do like to see the larger move happening here. And regardless, I will do a full breakdown again one more time at the end of the stream, from top to bottom, completely everything. So you have all the insights, so you at least understand the full process behind the trading idea and the direction of the trade and the reasoning. So you understand this clearly, and then you can do with this information what you want to do with this information, and then we'll move on. But I'm still paying attention right now. Still paying attention to this price action at this moment. How many types of session are there? There are 3 sessions: the Asian session, the London session, and the New York. You do have the Frankfurt in between the New London and the New York. But yeah, in terms of the sessions, a lot of you guys have been asking if I would like to trade the Asian session on stream. There will come a moment where I might give it a shot, see how it goes. Because I like to now wake up earlier and do my breakdown analysis in the morning. For me, the Asian session is in the morning. And you see these moves here. It's not a coincidence. These moves are huge. Look at this Asian session here on a Monday. Right? Seriously, it's no joke. This was on a Monday. This was on a Tuesday. And this was on a Wednesday. Today. These sessions are no joke at the moment. I do really appreciate the chat, guys. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are also just patient. Of course, we have to be in this range. But just the overall communication in the chat is top-notch. Like, I barely have to delete messages, or the moderator there barely have to delete messages. I don't see a reason to, unless it's like spamming or something. Nothing to say, man. You guys are top-notch, really. 650 likes today. I think we broke the record. I think we broke the record again. Episode number 12. Yeah, episode number 12. We're pushing. Jeez, we're pushing. All right. Episode number 12. We're pushing. We're pushing. I really appreciate this. How long are we live for? I'm going to give it at least, you could say another 15, 20 minutes. See if we can get out of this moment, out of this range. If the volume increases in the range. Right now, I would say buyers are coming in. Buyers are trying to follow through here. I do start to see now some change here. Right, you do see that sellers got trapped here. Oh, sellers got trapped here. So if we're talking about a hyper scalp here, what's happening here? What's happening here? There we go. Then this, what is going on? Why is this not working? There we go. Okay. Then this is an area where buyers could potentially follow through here. We closed above again, above the point of control, the 50-minute closure. We have around what? 13 minutes. This might be the push. This might be the actual push here. It might be an area to be looking at and literally be super tight here. Should I just give it a shot here? Let's see. This is the 61 to 75. We are not overvalued. We are relatively undervalued. I do like this. I do think we find some support here, and then with a very, very tight management, to be honest. You could be buying here. Okay. Because we see this closure on the 15 right now. We do push into it. Buyers are coming in. We're not overvalued. We close above the point of control. If you're thinking about buying here, this might be a quick scalp for you. D-Mark says yes. TP down 3 days back-to-back losses with gold. Yesterday was a massive. We had a massive trade yesterday, but I do understand that. I think yesterday a lot of people got trapped here or got squeezed out of the trade before the real move started. So yeah, the timing had to be perfect yesterday. That's for sure. Absolutely. But in the short term, this might be pushing, guys. Okay. I need to follow my rules, but I just want to clarify this for you. This might be an area of interest right here, where I said, hey, this might be where we could indeed find a follow through. I would not go full margin. Just saying, I would go lower risk and then pay attention to the 75s. Right? If this is your strategy now, you want to trade the internal of the internal, then it could be that we will reach or try to trade towards the 75s, which is pretty much, yeah, this range right here. The 75 right there. Okay. But today is a bit messy, so do take that in consideration. So it's all about your risk management now. How do you move with your risk? How do you react? Because it is a trappy situation. What's your view on the war going on right now? Well, it's just so mixed, guys. There's like, we're trying to figure out what's happening, right? And it's like escalation, de-escalation, escalation, de-escalation. It almost feels like right now it's one step backwards, two steps forward. One step backwards, two steps forward. Right now, it seems to be one step backward. So let's see if it's going to be two steps forward. It's a lot of speculation at the moment. We just have to really look at day by day. Really look at day by day. And the way I like to look at it is, where did most people in the last previous daily candle got trapped? That's it. Where did most people got trapped? Yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, that's my view. Obviously, a de-escalation would be nicer. It would be better. Yeah, the VWAP. Hey Lorenzo, your valuation index looks similar to the CCI. Any correlation there? Yes. Correct. It's a deviation from relative strength. That's how it's measured. The deviation from the relative strength. This indicator, actually the CCI that you're talking about, was actually founded in the 1980s. Okay? And it was founded by... for gold, by the way. For the commodity sector. Okay? Very interesting. This is why it's called the Commodity Channel Index, founded in 1980 by Donald Lambert. Yeah. Well done, man. Very sharp. Very sharp comment right there, bro. That's a good comment right there. All right. So indeed, you see that? You find some support here. I told you guys there is a chance that you could look for potential buys here, right? Because you can see that these sellers are trapped. You closed above this. You closed above the point of control. So there is a reason why this could continue to push towards the 75s right now. But there is movement. I'm going to give it around 15 minutes here to see if you can actually do something and increase volume, or if you stay within this range today, and we are just, you know, pretty much flat for the day. But if you are I call you a hyper scalp, if you're really willing to get in, get out quickly, and this is an area of interest right now. But this is also part of our learning curve. The weekly cycle is exactly what we are witnessing. We are seeing 2 days of a large expansion. Now we're seeing the Wednesday, the midweek, being more of an accumulation period after an expansion. And then hopefully the manipulation happens today or tomorrow during Thursday, the reversal, the manipulation and the reversal. That will be better because we have a higher time frame target in mind, right? And that is the 4650. Major resistance. 4650. Major resistance here. Jacine, congrats, man. Amazing. Congratulations. Emiel, thank you for your support. I'm really happy with you. God bless. Great. Greetings from the Netherlands. Dankjewel, man. Dankjewel. Dat wordt zeker gewaardeerd, my man. Yeah, so you can see it every time, and I just want you to think about this from the order flow perspective. If you have been watching the episodes right now for a while here, okay? These boxes, do you see how important these boxes are in the candle? And how you, within the candle, can precisely find the best entries, or at least the best confirmations? Potentially seeing if price could go up or could go down. And if you can see this right now, then yeah, we're on the right track here, because this is what I'm trying to teach you right now, or at least I want to get this printed. So when we see our boxes here, we can very clearly on the candlestick chart see, hey, these are our potential entries. These are our best areas. And I think if you're new to this channel, you will start seeing this very, very quickly. You start understanding why we should be bouncing here in the short term. Why I told you guys here, we most likely are going to continue to push up to the 75s. Okay. But in terms of my execution, we have a very simple, straightforward system where we get into certain entries at certain moments where we know the larger expansion is what we're aiming for. But this is a way to deal with the internal structure, with the internal range, where nothing is really happening, but on the lower time frame where there are some smaller opportunities. All right, so that's definitely the case here. Yeah, so we're pushing right. Like I said before, if we're pushing here and you are, let's say, longing right now, then I would say 75 is a reasonable entry, is a reasonable target. Okay, you can see it pushing now. You can see there is a reasonable reaction here. We are trying to go. I think the 75 makes sense. Why the 75? Because it's the hourly resistance. We tried to tap into this earlier. We have to be very, very, very tight with your management here, because the volume is not significant. That's for sure. Do you prefer spot gold or futures? I actually don't really mind. I don't really care. The reason why I trade futures is because it helps me on stream. Okay. Because I can see how exactly the levels, the price levels are identical. So I don't have to think about it. On spot, the prices might be slightly different, but for the rest, it's very, very simple. I actually took a trade this morning around the 30s. And I closed it at, wait, let me see where I opened it. I think I opened it at 35 and I closed it at 70. Yeah. So I took a trade around 35 during the London session, actually, pre-London. No, the London session. And I closed it at 70. I closed it at 70 right there. Okay. Yeah, I closed it at 70. So I'm actually, oh, I don't know if you can see it. I'm not sure if you can see it. Anyways, a quick scalp. But I expected the real move to be later today, but we're still in the range. So yeah, you can see the bounce, you can see the support. The price is holding respect in the 61. I think that if you are in a buy scalp right now, I think the 75 is a reasonable target, like I said before. It seems to be holding up really well here, and the candle is going to close in around 15 seconds. So this shows that, you know, buyers are trying to push. There are not much sellers active right now, pushing price down either. We don't call this an A+ setup, right? Just to be clear on this. It's not an A+ setup, but it's just a bounce, a quick scalp, whatever you want to call it here. I still don't get it. Why you order buy limit 4, 5, 11, 11 and not sell NTP right there? Yeah, this is always a big thing that people are asking me. Like, why don't you sell towards your buy limit? Because if you think that price is going to go there, why don't you sell towards it? And that's a very good question. It's a very common question you get from a lot of people that are actually starting to trade. And this is also something that I always had here. But what I really want to get rid of, guys, and this is something that I really want to get rid of here, also with you guys as well, is to get rid of that prediction mindset, right? Because we as beginner traders have been installed to think like, oh, we are predicting the market. We're predicting exactly what is going to happen in a large move, for example, right? So for example, I think we're going to do this. We're going to manipulate the highs. Let's say we're here. I think we're going to manipulate the highs, then we're going to manipulate the lows, and then we're going to go higher. If I would tell you that that's going to happen, I would be completely lying to you, okay? I would be completely lying. I would be setting you up, trust me. And if it then happens, then people are going to say, you see, it played out, it played out. But there is no logic and consistency behind that, okay? So I'm not predictive here. When I say I'm predictive, I'm only saying this from an order flow perspective, okay? But when I'm predicting moves like that, I'm not predicting, I'm reactive. I'm saying if price gets there, I see enough reason to buy. But it doesn't mean the price will get there. Do you understand? That's the reasoning. So we get installed with that mindset of predicting, but instead of being predicting, being reactive. If A happens, we act B. If B happens, we act C. Okay? But back to the logic here of the lower time frame, what we're seeing. You see that price tapped into that box. We said, this is where you could buy. This is where you could enter a quick scalping setup. If that would be the case, I think the 75s are a reasonable target. And I think that we're heading towards the 75s right now at this current moment, okay? We're heading there right now. It's a level here. This could already be the reason for you to say, hey, we are squeezing up, okay? It's not a setup that I'm willing to take right now on the stream, but that's something that I could see potentially playing out here as we were bouncing off this 5 minute. I hope that makes sense. So manage your trade. If you took it, you're in profit. Manage it correctly. See if you can reach the 75s here, okay? Can you monitor real-time data with the futures better instead of gold spot? Not necessarily, my friend. Polkar and Bra, just subscribe. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Hope you do well. I'm here to help you out, my friend. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. We're going to crush it together. Okay. Thank you for the subscribers, guys. Today, around 500 subscribers. 500 subs in this stream alone. In this stream alone. All right? In this stream alone. 700 likes. 500 subs in this stream alone. In a Wednesday. In this range. But there we go, guys. You see, guys, we're pushing to the 75s right now. Okay? I think that that is an incredible scalp. All right? I hope that makes sense here. Just giving you some quick insights in the medium term or in the time, okay, or in the in-between stages right now. I'm thinking, is it worth it for me to move my limit order up later on? I will do a quick full breakdown of what I will be looking for, okay? So you have a full understanding of my analysis here, and I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. Because if the trade happens later on during the session or after the session, you at least are updated regardless. Yesterday's trade was a massive one. Now we're dealing with some ranging here, but I think we reached it, right? 74? 74. Okay. Now sellers are starting to come in here. Okay. Now sellers are starting to come. It's still holding up really well. We might reach the 75, okay? So that could have been a nice quick scalp here for you, okay? Andre Sima, welcome, my friend. All right. Yeah, that's a 75. 71, 72. We reached the 75. There we go. That's the one, right? That's the one. It tapped into that box and it went higher. There we go. Okay. Now the resistance comes back. Now we're back at that zone here. This is really the moment of truth here. This is that resistance. This is that area on the hourly time frame. If you can close above this here, then most likely this will not be a fake out. Most likely we will see some continuation. But if you are a scalper, then also expect some potential resistance here. But we are at the 75s here. Okay. We are at the 75s here. So this was a nice quick, I don't know, how many points was it? 57 to 58 to 75. So 16 points, right? 160 pips, 16 points. And now you see the resistance coming in, okay? The reason why is because the hourly here has been showing us that sellers are willing to protect this level here. If we can take that out, this is very bullish. This is very bullish, but there is resistance right now at this current moment. So when I talked about a scalp here, if you are a scalper, then I highly recommend to not be greedy. To not be greedy, okay? It's so easy to be in a winning position and to just hold it till the end, seeing price coming back down all the way to your entry. But right now, you can see that sellers are stepping in here. You see the candle reversing here on the 5 minute. This is also the last 8 minutes before the hourly candle closure. Okay? Vitalik, just subscribed. Welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing well here. We will be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll be trading here. I'll look for my setups. In the meantime, give you some insights. We're doing a top-down breakdown, market analysis, full-time, from the higher to the lower time frame, making sure you're fully updated if you trade gold, okay? Gold is our instrument. We love to trade gold here on this channel. Now we master a strategy. But at the same time, we're learning a couple things as well here. Order flow is one of those layers. I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to learn here every day. Yeah, there we go. Rejection at this zone, right? Sellers are coming in here. We are now back at the 70s. All right. So we did expect some rejection here, or at least a reaction here. Not necessarily rejection, but a reaction. There we go. Look at the reversal. This is what happens when you're in the range, right? Taking entries, right? If you're in the range taking entries, don't expect it then to break the highs of the range, right? Objectively, right? We're still in the range. We're in a range for a reason, okay? So either you buy at the bottom of the range and you hold for the breakout. But if you buy in the middle of the range, the chances of you getting back to your entry is big. So then wait for the breakout, wait for the retracement, or get in at the bottom. Okay? There we go. Look at that reversal. 65, right? That's almost back towards that initial level. Okay, so that's why the 75 was the right exit. You guys agree? Type in a 1 in the chat. The 75 was the right exit. Okay, this 58 to 60 to the 75. Can price react bullish again here? Sure it can, right? I'm not saying it will not, but if you see the entry and the exit, where the sellers are stepping in again, the 75 is where they came in again. Oh, the microphone is off. If you would reverse the chart of oil here, and you look at gold right now, that looks pretty similar. That looks pretty similar. Look at that. Oil is holding up really well. This is why gold is facing some pressure right now. The dollar is pushing down. That's a good part. But it's oil that's holding up really well. So when you see that happening on gold and oil, and you see how these charts are pretty much inverted, you have to pay attention to oil. The Crypto Noob says, hey Lorenzo, did you see the new purple Ferrari Tory trade spot with her trading gains? Yeah, I know that. And she actually bought the Ferrari 812 Superfast GTS. I was thinking about buying that car in Dubai at the time. The Ferrari 812 Superfast GTS. But I'm in Bali. It will be a disgrace to do that here. Okay. First time in, what strategy do you use normally? We just talked about this right here. I'm going to go over this one more time. Okay. We use a couple of different metrics. If we want to build a gold hybrid LTA trading system, we use a couple of different metrics. Valuation, correlation, higher time frame, supply and demand, lower time frame, volume profile, and order flow. Execution. Okay? These are our 4 metrics right there. The valuation goes hand in hand with the correlation. That is why we look at oil, we look at gold. We measure gold against the dollar, or we measure gold against the 10-year yield. These things go hand in hand. The higher time frame supply and demand will tell us on the higher time frame we're using control. And on the lower time frame we use the order flow to find the right key levels and the order flow execution, so we understand exactly how buyers and sellers are reacting at these price levels. If you put this together on the 15-minute time frame right there with an execution, which is usually on the 5 or 15-minute time frame max, you can have a fantastic trading system. That is a system that we utilize on stream. We have written a book about it, not completely about this exact, but we have the macro framework. There are more details to it, but this is the conclusion of the strategy that we utilize right around there, okay? This is what we display on stream. Over time, you will learn about this. This is my suggestion, to come to the streams 5 days a week, because we're going through all the different cycles. Right now, we are in a ranging cycle right here, okay? The weekly cycle. We have the early week moves here. Look at that. Especially on Monday and Tuesday, often serve as traps before the proper trend forms. Liquidity tends to flow towards the last week's extreme before reversing. So in the midweek, like Wednesday today, exactly, we usually see a day like this. A session like this where we are chopping around, waiting for the moves, trapping traders left and right. And the only way to get into trades in the range is by understanding this very well, be patient, and to scalp your way in and out. But the large move happens when the manipulation takes place, okay? And that's the big trade I'm trying to get into later on. So that's the overall setup here, okay? I hope that makes sense, and welcome to the stream. I hope you're liking the free education here. We'll continue this process for now. Loving the new format so far, and the response has been amazing here. So anyways, guys, we're pushing back down, okay? To be really honest with you right now, okay, we have been sitting here for a while. We are still in the range. We're still around the open. I can wait here another hour with you guys and hope for price to make the larger move today. I can give you a couple more quick scalping insights. This was, I think, the one that I think was really legit. I took that quick scalp from the 60s to the 75s. Made definitely a lot of sense. But I do believe right now that that we have done everything we could here, patiently waiting for the larger move to happen. Okay, the dollar is kind of ranging now. It's pushing back a little bit. It's not that strong. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you the full macro breakdown. Okay, the full breakdown, higher to lower time frame. All right. Then I'm going to go to the lower time frame and give you the scenarios, the reasoning behind the execution of the trades, the analysis. It will take, what, maybe a couple minutes to go over it. And I think that will really set you up for tomorrow, okay? For tonight, if you are still up for today, okay? And I hope that sets the right foundation for you to at least help you out here, because that's my goal here, is to just make sure that you're fully updated. And that's exactly what I'm going to do as well here. I'm just going to share what I'm going to do, what I'm going to look at, and then we go from there. Let me know in the chat if you guys are willing to see this here. In the meantime, we need a different tune. Where was that tune I was looking for? I was looking for this masterpiece. Where is it? Okay, let's do it. I'm joking. Okay, serious stuff, all right? Let's do our full breakdown here right now. Let's give you the full insights here. We're pulling back from the 75s. That was not really a surprise, all right? The dollar is weaker here, but gold is not really willing to go because oil is still holding up really strong. That is the main reason, okay? So what we're seeing right now is the full breakdown here, okay? Let's go to the higher time frame. I think this is where it all started here, okay? So we want to go over this. We want to make sure that we understand this fully before moving on. Keep in mind, the trend itself is forming, all right? Look at the trend itself is forming. We're going to go over that in a second. But let's start with the higher time frame, okay? Right now, we know. This is what we know about gold here, okay? What we know about gold right now is that we are in, or we bounced from, major daily demand right here, major weekly support right here. It's actually a weekly demand zone, okay? This is between the 4,200 and the 4,000. This is a strong weekly demand zone right here, okay? There we go. Strong weekly demand zone right here, sitting between the 4,200 and the 4,000, right? This is where we saw that strong impulse, that strong reaction, okay? And if you take that to the weekly, you can actually see where that zone exactly was. And that zone was actually right there. This is on the weekly time frame, guys, the order flow of the weekly. You can see how we tapped into this right there, okay? Where buyers to control right there, and how we actually got respected, and now it flipped bullish. And then we see a lot of selling, okay? A lot of selling within this here. So let's take this to the daily time frame. Let's move forward and let's go to the daily, because right now we have also found strong daily support at the 4,360. So we tapped into that weekly demand zone, then we closed above that daily support, okay? Which is sitting at the 4,360 right here. You can see clearly major support at the 4,360. And yesterday, we took a trade around that daily support, okay? That was yesterday's trade. We took a long entry right below. We took it at 55, expecting it to push up. That's exactly what happened. So we tapped into that trade when the bottom wick, right, was created again in the daily candle, and then it flipped bullish. So that's why we acted upon that. We had, of course, a larger analysis around this, a confirmation around it as well here. But we closed our daily candle bullish here. So you can see already that the daily candle now is very important, right? The yesterday's candle on a Tuesday will be important. Now, if we go to the order flow on the higher time frame, and this is something that many people don't really do when using order flow. They use order flow for executions, but not for their analysis on the higher time frame, okay? What do I like to look at from the order flow is, I like to understand in each daily candle right now where the most buying and selling has occurred, and also where the most buyers or sellers got trapped in the marketplace, okay? So what you can see yesterday, for example, is that a lot of volume was traded suddenly. In this whole candle, most of the volume was actually traded inside of this area, in between the 44.30 and the 43.50, okay? This will be by default the higher time frame support. We have to mark this out. So that's higher time frame support. We cannot neglect this area, the 44.30 and the 43.50. So this is gonna be a super important range. If we manage to pull back into this, we will most likely find support, okay? So we should not be selling. We should only be looking to buy gold here, okay? That's the main thing we're looking at, because at this moment, this is a major area where a lot of sellers got trapped. Now, we talked about these boxes on the lower time frame. It works the same on the higher time frame, okay? Just want to make sure that that's clear, because it's super important. We see that here, a lot of selling. The next candle pushes into this. What happens? We flip bearish. That was the best time to sell, okay? This is important zone. So we also have this on the other side, okay? This is what we call demand, and this is what we call supply, real supply, okay? It can also mean that there were trapped sellers or trapped buyers forming demand or forming supply, because what's gonna happen when they pull back, we see a lot of buying, a lot of contracts getting closed. This causes a spike. This causes more volume to be pushed back into the market here. So the other zone is this zone, okay? And this is the zone that we've marked out right around there, okay? It's in between the 46.50 and the 47.30, okay? So we mark out a zone, 46.50, right there, 50, and the 47.30, okay? That's right here. Now, if you go to the 12-hour, what do we see here? A drop-based drop. That's a supply zone, and that's a real supply zone. It's not a fake supply zone, it's a real supply zone, because this zone, okay, is supported by these candles as well, right? And supported by real trapped buyers in the marketplace. I hope that makes sense, okay? So we have a target in mind where we'll find resistance, okay? We don't want to buy there because we will be in higher time for resistance. So for now, the best buying opportunities come in this demand zone on the candlestick chart, okay? And they're confirmed with real order flow, okay? And this is where we find support, and this is where we find resistance. So we are now in the middle, okay? We are now in the middle, and we are following the lower time frame here. So we go from the higher time frame to the 4-hour. All right, we take it a step to the intraday, and we start looking at the intraday, and we start to see, okay, what has been happening intraday. Now, let's take this to the 4-hour, okay? And as you can see here, we've seen a lot of selling this week, a lot more selling than buying, because we saw that on the daily, a lot more selling than buying this week, and we're trading above this. So we should be bullish, because the most people right now are trapped in the marketplace. These are sellers. So we're following the intraday trend here, okay? And what you can see is that buyers came in. We saw that zone right there. Now, how does this look on the 4-hour? You can actually see that we have formed a zone right around here. We will mostly find support here. So let's take this to the intraday. What do we see on the intraday? Okay, or the 30-minute or the 50-minute time frame. Now we can start talking volume profile, entries, etc. Now, we have our range, and if you guys read the book here, the LTA Concentrating War Map, you know that we are a big fan of the fixed volume profile, which we can see right here, okay? And we trade different types of patterns. And some of these patterns are areas where you consolidate, you expand, you retrace, and you continue. And if you want to learn about this, you can pretty much read the book for free. I put the link in the description right here. You can download it, created it for you so you can learn about it, okay? It's on page number 47. Now, what we can see on gold right here is that we actually had a consolidation. We have now seen the expansion. If we see a pullback okay, we will be looking to buy. All right, we will be looking to buy in the area where a lot of traders got trapped in sells here, okay? We are now in the middle, and we're looking to see if we could potentially come up higher. This is a larger move, okay? This is not a move that we expect at this session. This is a move that we might expect at some point to happen if price pulls back. This is the macro support, the higher time frame support too, okay? But we were trading this session, all right? And we're looking to trade the session. And what we're seeing now is that we are seeing that we are forming the trend. Buyers are in control, okay? You can see this right here. Sellers got trapped, buyers are in control. So we take the latest zone very serious, which is in between the 4470 and the 4511, okay? So with the 4470, the 4511, we mark out that zone. That's the zone that we've marked out right here. That's why we have a buy limit sitting right there, okay? And I do expect some sort of push down towards the 4511 right there, okay? This is an area right now that I'm paying a lot of attention to this session, because it could easily be that we find 4-hour support, we push into this, we take out the lows, and we continue to go higher to our higher time frame resistance here, okay? So, couple zones that I would like to trade is number one is the 4-hour, and if we drop further, it's the daily range, okay? It's the previous daily range right here. I'm gonna mark out a couple levels. I'm gonna look for the pullback. I will be looking to long gold from any of these levels right there, okay? Now, for my execution, there is one thing that I follow and one rule that I have, and I'm not complicating the rule here. And this is one rule: I don't buy when we're overvalued, and I don't sell when I'm undervalued, okay? So when I'm overvalued, I don't buy, and when we're undervalued, I don't sell, okay? If we can get to an area of interest and we're undervalued, I do see there is a big reason for us to potentially look for a buy. And my target would be the 46.40. Why? Because I think there is a chance that we might get back towards higher time frame resistance right now, okay? This is still in the middle. We're in the middle of the range. This is a scenario on the 4-hour that I mark out. Overall, we can see on the higher time frame that there is a lot of selling here. We're trading above this. So being bearish would not be correct right now. Being bearish would not be correct. Being bullish would be correct, because most of the selling took place here. We're trading above this. We have not reached major resistance yet. So it seems that the accumulation happened here. The manipulation happened here. We're looking to push higher into that zone to then see a reaction. Can we short from here? Maybe, okay? Maybe we could look for shorts right here. If we start seeing weak price action here, we might look to take it back towards here for the potential push higher, okay? For now, we're here. The question now is, are we gonna get here first or are we gonna get there first, okay? That is something that we're trying to figure out, all right? But that's why taking the lower time frame in consideration, looking at the valuation, look at our entries, makes, in my opinion, the most sense. Now, for this trading session right here, we had a quick scalping idea here from 60 to 75. Right now, we are flat, okay? What usually happens in this range here, okay? Usually we see some sort of manipulation taking place. So it could easily be that we first induce people to go short when we break down. We're seeing a lot of selling here. People get trapped into their sells. Price finds support, and we actually make the real move to the upside. That's the bet I want to take here. Because if that's the case, we will most likely find an undervaluation as well, which exactly is the confirmation I'm looking for when entering the position here. Because every time when we're undervalued, guys, on a 15-minute time frame, okay, I show this right now, we are bottoming out. This is our trade yesterday, okay? The example that I gave you guys. This is the actual trade we took yesterday on stream. We were undervalued here, okay? We took a long here. We were undervalued there. We are undervalued there. We are undervalued there, okay? If price breaks down, we are most likely reaching undervaluation because the trend is bullish, because we are looking to get towards the higher time frame resistance. I might believe we might be following up and are able to look for that continuation play, okay? So I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to get in at like 11, place my stops at like 70, okay, and target the 63, okay? It could be a level I would be looking for as a point of interest right now, because all the signals are lining up. If I'm wrong, okay? If I'm wrong in this case, which could happen, I'm not a guru. I'm not here to predict, okay? If I'm wrong, I'm still not gonna sell, because we will immediately get towards our second zone, which is right here, right? And this is that major zone that we talked about. I believe the next zone will be right here, and I would still be looking to buy and look for long continuations right there, okay? That's the overall conclusion in regards to gold, in regards to what we're seeing here. And this is the main reason why being patient will in most cases pay off, okay? In most cases will pay off here. So this is why I told you guys, if you were scalping, okay, don't get greedy. Don't be greedy, okay? Because what happens when you're greedy in a range, you can't expect the range to break out if you enter in the middle of the range right here, okay? Because in the end, you see what happens? Price respected it. It came to the 75s and it sold off. And now we're actually pushing down here. Very interesting. Look at that. Look at that reaction here. Damn, are we actually going to make a move here? Wow. Unbelievable. I expected to end the stream without the actual trade itself, but let's see here, okay? Let's see here. In the chat, let me know who took that quick scalp right there before. Let me know. I'm actually kind of curious. And we're getting bottom up again. Yeah, it depends how we close this candle here. Otherwise, I just keep it open. Okay. We've done the full breakdown already. You guys know exactly what I'm looking for and why. Don't want to make the stream too long. Typical Wednesday, man. Look at that. Yeah. Back in the range. All right. Keep in mind, guys, that the more you follow up with this analysis here, and the better you're going to understand the actual system behind it. And yeah, I really love sharing these insights. I'm really doing my best right now to just hopefully help you out and train you, okay? But I always want to make sure that you're not left empty-handed, okay? I really want you to have an understanding. And of course, tomorrow on the stream, the first thing we do is to review the situation. We review what has happened, our thought process beforehand, what is the conclusion, what are the next steps, right? We always move forward, okay? That is the thought process here, and I would love to see you guys tomorrow at the same time. And I think overall, it was a great week of streaming so far. Monday was amazing. Tuesday, yesterday, wow, a banger. And today we are in the range, but a lot of valuable lessons today, okay? Not being greedy, taking action, being patient, and understanding that we are in the midweek. We're creating some sort of range, some sort of cycle. And the expectation or the manipulation or the expansion will most likely follow later on, okay? Amazing, G's. Thank you for the support here. I appreciate the likes and everything. We have killed it. We have crushed our record again. 782 likes. That's amazing, man. I hope you appreciate this free education. We have been receiving so much questions about the VIP or mentorship or whatever, but right now, at this moment, we're just doing our thing, man. Coming back to the streams every day and grind with you guys here. I'm also learning. I'm also getting better. And the more I'm talking to you guys about the system, the more I'm speaking things to existence. Because the more I talk to you guys, the better I can reflect and then get the direct feedback from my own system, right? And reflect what I'm saying, right? Does that make logical sense? If I speak it into existence, I can reflect and I learn also twice as fast. So you guys actually help me to get better every day. And keep me responsible, keep me accountable. Okay? Thank you guys. All right. I wish you all the best. I'm live here from Bali, Indonesia. I'm going to be back tomorrow again, same time. And I hope you understand the exact thought process. And we'll get back to work again. All right. We'll make sure that you guys are fully updated and master a trading system by the end of, I would say, until the summer. I think in the summer times, you guys should have the foundation completely set, ready to rock and roll. Okay. Let's take this quarter and let's speak our success into existence here. Thank you guys. Ciao, ciao. Love you guys. Peace.
Play the room, baby. It's about to blow. We be on, baby. In low frequency love. Play the room, baby. It's about to blow. We be on, baby. In low frequency love.
All right, ciao, ciao, ciao. See you tomorrow.